Hello! Hello, give me a minute. My webcam is like way further over than it should be. Also, I suspect the music is a bit loud. I don't know. How are my audio levels? Let me know, guys. Yeah, there should be an internet browser up. Give me just a second. Also, I literally have just seen... Yeah, hi Danielle. Hi, Dizzy Shooter. What's up? I've just seen some concerning wild news literally as I fired the stream up. But I'm going to try not to let it bother me too much. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. That's better. Hang on. Still think I'm probably a bit too far over now, but it's fine. And also my webcam ever so slightly overlaps past the overlay, but it's fine. It's fine, it doesn't matter. How is my voice in comparison to the music and whatnot? Hey everyone, how's it going? Okay, cool, Miz. Glad to hear it. Yeah, I woke up a couple hours ago. Sounds okay? Okay, good news. Yeah, I woke up just a couple hours ago. I'm very sleepy right now. I'm a sleepy boy. I'm just gonna leave the music on in the background because we're just hanging out, just chatting, just talking, just shooting the gosh darn diddly dang shit. A little loud? Okay. Turn it down a little bit. What's up, Jan? What's up, Illifo? Thank you, Jam. So yeah. Oh fuck! I just knocked my Xbox controller down. Today I'm doing one of those fancy old newfangled tier list streams. People seem to like them apparently, and I think it would be fun to kind of like, you know, talk about my opinions on Dark Souls at length a bit more. You know, kind of to kind of collate it all and kind of almost Google review my experience, really. Talk about the bits that suck, talk about the things that I liked. I'm going to start off with areas because I think that's slightly less interesting to most people. I'm just going to do like my favourite to least favourite. I'm not going to do like difficulty or anything. But when it comes to bosses, I'll do like a difficulty one and I'll do a how shit they were and weren't one. What should I look up for that concerning world news? Putin and Ukraine and stuff. I don't fully understand the situation other than that it's bad, and it's probably going to be quite bad. But hey, you're not here to talk about politics and important things, right? You're here to watch the silly gamer give his silly opinions. So stop worrying, forget about all the anguish and strife and genuinely terrifying things that happen out in the world. Because, yeah, do you see Russia and Ukraine listed in my tier list? No. And let me tell you, if I was, Russia wouldn't be very high on this tier list, frankly. Haven't been there. Can't say I'd give it a very good review. Anyway, so this is my Dark Souls area tier list. I kind of want to give them different names. I'll do that for bosses. This can be... Sure, I don't think I want this many tiers. I'm going to delete the F tier. So S, A, B... I think I want 5. But there is one that belongs in E. I don't know. I'm curious to field your opinions, chat. What did you guys think was the worst area in Dark Souls? Because I suspect that we have differing opinions based on what most people were telling me in chat throughout my playthrough. Can't wait to go to Siberia and Elden Ring. It's one of the many poison swamps. There is definitely like a standout worst area to me. Lost Izalith. Okay. Been watching some more lore videos and kind of learning some more stuff about the game as a whole and whatnot. I've been finding out about all the bosses you can and can't skip, like how you can skip Quelaag by giving 30 humanity to her sister, who I never met. I didn't realise there's the illusory wall there. Lost Isla for sure. I'm here to tell you that you're wrong, chat. Maybe I'm biased from the fact that I played on the Remastered and the lava's brightness was not particularly obnoxious to me. Or maybe it's because I accepted a backseat on that really, really silly bonfire near the Bed of Chaos. But no, I do not think Lost Isaac was the worst area in the game. I think motherfucking Tomb of the Giants was the worst area in the game. Good lord. God damn. You know what? It wasn't just the darkness. It wasn't just the fact that there was no light source. I kind of like that. Even though it was a gimmick, I like that. I like the uniqueness that offered and how cool it was and how genuinely different an area Tomb of the Giants seemed. I love the idea of it and all the cool little lights in the area. But you combine navigating through darkness with those fucking bone dogs who could like nearly one-shot me. Their attacks did more damage than literally anything Gravelord Neo could do. And the fact that Tomb of the Giants was designed with so many like pitfalls, like the fact that you could roll to avoid an enemy's attack, and so consistently you would just roll into your death and just fall off the side because there's so many ledges and perilous drops. It just because there's another area with a pitch black darkness kind of gimmick. And I don't hate it anywhere near as much. I've spoiled that for you. So I think frankly, I think Tomb of the Giants for me is like in a tier of its own. I think it's the only one that goes in E tier. It's the only one that I dislike that much. For the record, I am doing it kind of ordered, so it would be like from left to right, like best to worst, you know. So the best in a tier would be on the left, and the worst in a tier would be on the right. Yeah, I think Tomb of the Giants simply stands alone in E tier. It's far away my least favorite area in the game. Just a fucking hassle, man. Like, you feel almost incentivized to not explore as well because of how dangerous it is. Like, looking for bonfires in that area. Oh. Yeah. Tomb of the Giants is my least favorite area in the game. Yeah. Now for my second least favorite area, I don't know how controversial this is, but it's this one. Crystal Cave. Yet again, I think a pretty silly little gimmick that didn't really add anything. Invisible bridges, cool. Like, it was presented in a kind of neat way with the whole. Thank you, Metroid. Thank you. It feels good to finally be a gamer. You know, it's a real relief to finally be a gamer. It's only short, but like, the invisible bridges and the fucking big fat elemental guy they plant in that little bridge area where he can just knock you off easily, and it's really fucking like awkward because if you walk too far to one side or another you just instantly fall off and die. Such a small area and it manages to be so fucking lame in such a short time that I really disliked it. Will I stream Dark Souls 2 and 3? Well, I'm gonna play Dark Souls 2 off stream at some point. Because I've heard a lot of things that suggest to me that I don't really want to play it on stream. I also think it'd be nice to play a new Dark Souls game or a new Soulsborne game where I'm not streaming it and I can really take it all in, and then maybe I'll be a bit more mechanically sound for like the next one that I play on stream. And then it's very possible that I play Dark Souls 3 on stream. If not Dark Souls 3, then maybe Elden Ring, maybe Bloodborne, you know, one day if they ever put Bloodborne on PC. We'll see. So, there's Crystal Cave is my second least favourite. I wasn't even thinking about this one. I almost forgot about it entirely, but yeah. Yeah, the Great Hollow goes next. I think the idea of it being like a big tree that you go down and then back up is cool. But it has an enemy that really kind of freaks me out. The enemy that freaked me out the most in the game, which is those basilisks with the giant eye looking things, and I know that's not actually their eyes. I saw a video pointing out where their actual eyes are. They got the little beady fucking things, little Elon Musk eyes. What a coincidence. So, yeah, but going back up through this area, did I meet the mushroom people? Do you mean like the enemies who punched me? Yeah, I love them. They're fucking funny. Yeah, they're great, but yeah. Yeah, maybe I would hate them more if I got cursed. I somehow got away with that. Yeah, going back up through this area sucks. There's that one really weird little glitched ledge that you just like. It is totally the height that you should be able to just walk up, but you can't. And so you're constantly having to like jump around it and like risk dying every time and losing like 3-4 minutes of progress just because of like the physical jank. The texture doesn't work. Awkward as hell. Doesn't work. Don't like it. I do not actually. I still don't know what curse does in Dark Souls 1. Did you know? You feel free to tell me, because I, rip you guys, but I'm different. I just simply did not get cursed. If I don't want to be cursed, I will simply not get cursed. Man. Next, I actually think is Demon Ruins. I actually didn't like Demon Ruins that much. I mean, it was very small for one thing, but this is the place with both the copy and pasted fucking tourist demons all over the ground, and then the fucking copy and pasted Capra demons, 6 of them, like 6 or 7 of them, like right next to each other, right? This had those annoying fucking centipede guys who come out the wall and ambush you. Just a lot of annoyance in Demon Ruins for such a short time. Halves your health and you cannot become human, but you can interact with ghosts. Curse in the first game insta-kills you and permanently halves your HP total until you remove it. Jesus Christ. How do you remove it? Is it like a... I had items, right? I had purging stones or something. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I dislike Demon Ruins more than I dislike Lost Izalith. I'm unsure as to whether or not I should take bosses into consideration when talking about the area. I'm actually kind of not, unless there is a case with Lost Izalith that we'll talk about. But I'm not factoring bosses in here. I'm talking about the area in and of itself, because we'll talk about bosses later. They're a separate thing, So this is without even factoring in Ceaseless Discharge, which was I don't really know what to think about still, but I just don't think Demon Ruins is very good. I don't think I have a lot going for it. Copy pasted bosses, annoying enemies, and very short and unremarkable otherwise. So, and then I think the last area to go in this tier. I don't know if chat are gonna freak out about this or hate this, but the Duke's Archives. And it's really sad. It's really sad that I had to put the Duke's Archives down here, because I think aesthetically and thematically it's very cool. I really like the idea of it. I really like how it looks. I like a lot of what's going on, but it is not fun to play through. It's just very annoying. The fucking casters who are like on the levels above you, and they do be casting at you, and then you attack them. They do the dance. They cut up the rug. You attack them like once or twice, and then they fuck off to the other side of the map. And every time you're trying to pull the levers and solve the puzzles and navigate it, you're just getting attacked from every fucking angle by like 5 dudes. And it's just a pain in the arse. It's a fucking hassle. And even progressing through and finding your way to Crystal Cave is like, not obtuse, but a hassle. Pain in the arse. Yeah, I'm doing this purely on overall quality rather than difficulty. So I like the idea of Duke's Archives, but I personally found going through it wholly unenjoyable. Very unfun. Yeah, this is a bit of a controversial one. Bit of a hot take, sorry chat, but I did not have fun going through this area, which it's unfortunate. And that's it for D tier, I think. C tier, this is where the kind of unremarkable stuff comes in, I think. So at the bottom, I think I'll put Ash Lake. It was very cool to look at, but nothing there, nothing what. Ash Lake looks so cool, but there's nothing. There's one Covenant, right? And you have to go down through the Great Hollow to get there, and then you have to go back up through it afterwards. Yeah, there's not much to say. You go to the end, there's a Covenant, that's cool, and then you're like, oh, that's actually it. They made this whole area for this. Now I have to go all the way back up to the Great Hollow, past the annoying ass Hydra, past a bunch of shell guys. Yeah. No, I haven't, Illifo. You noticed that. Yeah, maybe it's maybe I got almost unlucky, dare I say, by going there before I got the Lord Vessel, but I was, dare I say, a bit underwhelmed. Seeing it for the first time, I was like, cool, can't wait to see what this area's got to offer, and I was like, right, one thing, I'm out, bye. But that one thing is very cool. The dragon looks really fucking cool. That's like a gnarly secret. Next, I'm going to put Darkroot Basin. This has also got the Hydra. I hate the Hydra. The Hydra was very unenjoyable. That was a very unenjoyable fight. Goodness me, that was lame. That really sucked. And aside from that, not much of anything else, right? That's kind of it. It's like got the Hydra and a body of water and some elemental guys. And it kind of connects to Valley of the Drakes, I guess. So just not much to write home about. Even if, I can't remember if the bit up the ladder is technically... even if the bit up the ladder was technically basin, which I don't think it was, I think it was garden, but even if it was, that's like a part of the garden or basin that I didn't really like that much with the Forest Covenant guys, who would just beat my ass. And yeah, Darkroot Basin, I think it's just like very forgettable, you know, overall. But chat are talking about it, and yes, next is the one that you want to see, chat. Promise. Finally, it's the one you want to see. We're finally going to get out of the way. Valley of the Drakes. This Valley of the Drakes. Hang on. Did I see the roller cats in Darkroot? No, I don't think I saw any roller cats. No, if I'd seen them, whatever they are, I think I'd remember it. Maybe it'd bump the area up for me. Roller cats. You'll have to forgive my voice, by the way. I have just woken up like an hour and a half or so ago. Valley of the Drakes is weird. I spent the whole game thinking that there was something more to it, and then I realised there wasn't. And it serves its function as an area to like link a lot of places together, but also does nothing else other than have some areas that kind of suck and be a bit of a disappointment in general. Yeah, I did open the door for New Londo. Yeah. And when I flooded the water out, I was expecting to have flooded the valley, and then, you know, there'd be something that changed there, like I could, I don't know, swim across from the two ledges or something. Something cool, I don't know. But no, I just flooded the water out and that was it. And I was like, right, there really is nothing more to this area. So it serves its function in linking a lot of areas together. But, you know, that's basically all it does, really. And it's weird that they have such a thematically interesting area to link everything together, because it seems to suggest a lot more potential. Like, hey, there's going to be dragon stuff here, you know? And there isn't. There's just some drakes and a big gross guy who pukes on you, and that's it. So, a bit weird. I still really expected more from Valley of the Drakes. I expected something to happen. Nothing ever happened. I don't think it's a one-to-one comparison with Firelink Shrine, but if you look at Firelink Shrine, which also links a lot of areas together, they do so much with that, right? And obviously Firelink Shrine is the hub, but I think they definitely could have done more with Valley of the Drakes. It's weird to have an area with with unique enemies and a really interesting theme used specifically to link other areas together. That's weird. Honestly, if they just called it like the Valley, it might have at least and had like just generic enemies. Sounds weird to say, but it might have been like a tier up, because it would have just plainly been like, this is the function, that's it, you know. But they set me up. They set me up. They raised my hopes and dashed them quite expertly. Dark Souls. Next in C. Is Blighttown. People seem pretty split on Blighttown. Aesthetically, Blighttown was really cool. I really liked the kind of like Cajun, like, you know, swamp aesthetic they had going on with all the... It was all made of wood. It was like a big climbing frame. And the way that you descend is very cool. But that toxic status effect, those blow dart guys, that fucking sucked. That was like one of the most annoying parts of the game, was just having that toxic status effect. You can tell that the developers knew what a problem it was by the fact that they made them not respawn. So I think Blighttown looks really cool. I don't know. Chat seems to disagree, and I can see myself putting it a bit higher. You know what? There is another area that goes below it. There is another area that goes below it, actually. And it's the depths. And they're connected, so this works. I think Blighttown is cooler than the depths, because the depths is just like your sewer level that's also a maze and a labyrinth. And it has enemies that give you status effects that kind of sucks. It's not aesthetically interesting, you know. It's not got a lot of cool stuff going on. I do think it's kind of cool. I think it looks slightly more interesting than the average like sewer level, because I like all the metal grates and flowing water, and like it's not quite as like grey and boring and dull and, you know, genuinely arse as most sewer levels. It's just not great. So yeah, depth there, Blighttown above, because Blighttown at least has like aesthetic interest going for it, and like more interesting enemy types, for better or for worse. Okay, next is Chasm of the Abyss, which was the far superior dark area. This is where you fight Manus, right? The little humanity area enemies were very cool. I liked them. Seeing them for the first time was genuinely like a whoa, what the fuck moment. And this is an area that is much better designed around darkness, because you don't have as many big obnoxious enemies that do tons of fucking knockback when they hit you. And you don't have a whole ton of fucking pitfalls where as soon as you try and roll out the way of an attacking enemy, you fall off and fucking into the abyss and fucking die immediately. You know, there is some level of forgiveness or forgivingness or whatever, and that was generally just much less of a pain in the arse. So yeah, this is much more interesting, much more better designed around darkness. Still not great. I still don't love navigating areas in darkness in general, but certainly much better than Tomb of the Giants. And chat, you know what? I think that's it for this tier. Yep. Yeah, I believe so. I believe that is actually it for this tier. B, I'm gonna put Catacombs. I did do the DLC, Jan. Yeah, I'm gonna put the Catacombs. The Catacombs is cool and interesting, and also not fun to play through. You know what I mean? This is like the Duke's Archives, like leveled up. You know, I really like. They do a lot more with the idea of an area that is the Catacombs than you expect. Like the whole outside area with the waterfall is very cool. The fact that you're constantly kind of ducking and weaving in and out of the Catacombs, and the fact that it's so vertical, and you can just. I've seen people. I've seen it in some of the videos I watched. Like I've watched people basically drop right to the bottom right away and just get straight to pinwheel. That's really cool. I love the vertical nature of it, the way that you're constantly descending. But it is a bit labyrinthian. The skeletons constantly respawning is interesting, but also not fun. You know, that's the general consensus, I think, for this area. Is it's really cool, but it's not fun. You know, and an area has to be cool and fun to be high tier. So this is decent. I like this well enough. Next is probably Darkroot Garden. Pretty kind of somewhat bog standard area, dare I say. You know, like not a lot going on. What's up, Saladingus? How's it going? But as far as like early game areas go, I think it's cozy. It's one of the areas that doesn't make you feel like you have nowhere you can go. The plant enemies are very silly and goofy and cool, as are the statue guys. It's very nice looking. It's very pretty, especially the big wide open area with the statue area, guys that lead up to the Moonlight Butterfly. And there's some cool little stuff for those trees you're destroying, the weird lizard guys, and the big run to get the wolf ring. There's some cool stuff going on in Darkroot Garden, but it is a bit small and overall uneventful. But that's fine for an early game area. I think it serves its purpose in that regard. And is generally just a neat, perfectly fine little area. It doesn't really do anything wrong, but doesn't set my world on fire, you know? The Ulasil Township was very cool in concept. Again, I like the idea of it. I like the way the enemies look. The kind of weird, possessed, almost fungal looking Last of Us zombie looking guys. Oh, I meant to put that ahead of Darkroot Garden, sorry. And I like the verticality and the different levels to it as well. And you really do feel like you're going through the ruins of a town. But it wasn't that much fun, especially because of the dark magic mage guys who are really annoying and a real pain in the ass. And getting ganked by the enemies in this area is like amongst the most problematic in the game. It really sucks. You just die so quickly, and that's not fun, and you lose a lot of progress. But there's some cool stuff. Again, I'm in that kind of area where there's not a lot to say. It's like, this is fine, you know. I don't particularly dislike or really like them. This is fine. It's a pretty short area, I think, but yeah, hard, scary, not a ton of fun. Alright, chat. It's actually the one you've been waiting for now. I'll actually go ahead and do this. I just don't get it. I've thought about it at length. I truly, genuinely do not get people's beef with Lost Izalith. I don't get it. Someone has to explain it to me because I don't get it. The bonfire close to Bed of Chaos is a problem. And if you're taking bosses into consideration, then this area tumbles down the fucking list. I'm not. So I'm not really taking Bed of Chaos or... I think that Bed of Chaos is technically the only boss in this area, right? Because I think Demon Fire Sage and Centipede Demon are Demon Ruins. Either way, I'm not taking bosses into account. This area was cool! Fucking walking on lava. The bit where you walk on the lava through all the fucking giant leg enemies, and you've got like this whole open area of lava is really fucking cool. I love that bit aesthetically. And then you go through like the ruins of what seems to be a temple, and the statues and the weird fucking Chaos Eater enemy. This area was aesthetically cool. It had a unique mechanic that wasn't super gimmicky and annoying. All you have to do is put a ring on and you can walk on lava. Different enemies that were cool. I just thought it was cool. I seriously, Chatter explaining it to me now, I just don't get it. I didn't think the dragon butts were that much of a problem. They're not particularly aggressive. They certainly didn't go off on me too much. You know, I just didn't have any of the problems that you guys have. I thought it was aesthetically cool, thematically cool, and playing through it was fine. It was perfectly enjoyable. I liked it even. so I'm stumped as to the hate for this area. Again, if you're counting bosses, sure, because Bed of Chaos, I'm going to spoil it for you, is the worst boss in the game. And that bonfire near it is incredibly fucking stupid. To be honest, the bonfire being near it is the biggest thing holding me back from being even higher. But, you know, lore-wise, it's an absolute failure to what Lost Izalith is supposed to represent. Interesting. My understanding is that Lost Izalith is, you know, the Witch of Izalith tried to recreate the flame, and it got all fucked up and warped a ton of stuff and basically bred chaos. And she got fused to some of her daughters. So I guess, are you saying like it should have been more chaotic? There should have been more stuff there? Because people are saying it's empty, it's very limited, rewarding exploration. I'll give you that. There wasn't a ton of incentive to explore. But then it wasn't that big, you know? And it was like pretty linear, and that's fine. I think that's okay. Because it wasn't that big and empty. It was just empty and quite narrow, I think. And there were some little things here and there, some souls and whatnot. I think there was a flame ember that I picked up at some point. I think. I can't remember. Might have been here. Might have been Demon Ruins. Either way, yeah. This is my hot take. This might be the hottest take I have all day. I just do not think that Lost Izalith was that bad. I'm sorry, chat. I know for a fact I watched that guy, the Democracy, whatever his name is. Yeah, him. Yeah, I watched his video about like the areas ranked from worst to best, and Lost Izalith is like widely considered the worst area in the game. It's much bigger than the Blighttown Swamp, but there's much less stuff in it. Is it bigger than the Blighttown Swamp? Okay, well, it may be bigger than the Blighttown Swamp, but I think it's a lot more aesthetically interesting. And I also think that like maybe this sounds dumb, but I think getting poisoned is more annoying than like just taking a bit of residual damage. The mod does his community votes, remember? Yeah, no, I know, yeah. Which is why I'm saying that like, the general consensus seems to be that this area is the worst. Even Miyazaki himself hates Lost Izalith. That's just crazy. I don't get it. I do not get it. I feel like I have to fucking fire the game up now and go back there and try and figure it out. I do not get it. I thought it was totally fine. Sorry. It's my hot take for the day. Just above it, I'm going to put New Londo Ruins. I think New Londo Ruins, people seem to really not like New Londo Ruins, but I thought it was cool. Miyazaki also hates it because it was so rushed that he couldn't even design it. Hey, New Londo Ruins! I often don't like areas like this that like really gloomy and dark and you're besieged by, you know, ghosts or whatever it is, but I just think New Londo has a lot going for it. It's very cool. It has a gimmick, but that gimmick is perfectly fine in that you need a curse to kill the ghosts, but also you can work around it with like a ghost blade or something, which is neat. And then the way that you flood it and then go back through and the area is changed, and it's like more of it is accessible. It's very Zelda, and it's very cool. Aesthetically, I actually really like it. The gank house does suck. Yeah, generally getting ganked in this area sucks. Because when it's not the ghost, then it's the fucking Dark Wraith dudes, and it's people chasing you all over the place. But I thought generally this is pretty cool and fun and interesting to navigate. The first time you see whatever his fucking name is, the Sagely guy, on the roof in the distance, he looks really creepy. And I love that. I love that little moment of just seeing a creepy looking guy on a rooftop in the distance in an area that's otherwise entirely empty. It was one of the memories I still think about, which is weird because when you finally talk to him, he's fine. He's like perfectly chill. He's very nice. But I still think about that little moment. This is one of the few areas in the game where, like, you know, you fundamentally change it and you go back and navigating it is then different. And I think that's cool. I just think that's neat. And actually, I've noticed that Lower Undead Berg isn't here, or Lower Undead Asylum, whatever it is, the area that leads up to Capra Demon. I would have put that below New Londo Ruins, but I guess that's going to be factored into Undead Berg, so I won't consider that. And actually, I do want to put I forgot to put the Undead Asylum here, but I'm going to put that just before New Londo Ruins, because I think this is a pretty cool and fine tutorial area. It isn't very aesthetically interesting, because it's an asylum, but it doesn't have to be. You know, I think it teaches you the game really well. You know, from starting out in a small corridor with very easy to kill enemies, and then you pick up the shield and you learn how to deal with arrows, and you kind of, you know, the boss comes down and you kind of learn that running away is an option, which it definitely is. The only thing I wish was different is we didn't lose the boss on the rooftop in New Londo that they even had a model and animations for. There was going to be a boss on the rooftop. I didn't know about that. Interesting. I should look into the cut content. I'm curious, but yeah, that's one thing I haven't looked into for Dark Souls is cut content. That sounds interesting. But yeah, Northern Undead Asylum is a good tutorial area, but obviously it's very short. It's quite uninteresting in a lot of ways, but it serves its purpose very well. It's really good for teaching you the game, I think. Considering how hard Dark Souls is, I think this is a tutorial area that's very generous in teaching you stuff. And getting you out and kind of, you know, and the fact that you can come back later is cool, but I don't think really that much is ultimately done with it. You know, you fight a reskin of the same boss that's kind of lame. You go back to your cell and get a doll that no one is ever going to have any idea what the fuck to do with, and that's kind of it. And getting there is the weirdest thing in the fucking world. The boss was a huge ass red and black knight with a demon sword. Damn. It does sound cool. Another one of those fucking Megadeth album art bosses. So yeah, I'm going to put Undead Asylum there. Ulasil Sanctuary, I'm going to put here. Very cool area, aesthetically gorgeous, but very small. And like to the point where there's almost nothing going on, right? This is like top 3 or top 5 nicest looking areas in the game. But there's just so little to it. There's basically nothing here. There's just a few enemies, and then it becomes the Royal Wood pretty soon after. So there's so little to say about Ulasil Sanctuary because there's so little going on. I remember talking to the Mushroom. The Mushroom was funny. I still don't really know what she was all about. I should look into the lore of that because I don't really get what the deal with the Mushroom was. But I liked being able to talk to a Mushroom. That was nice. And I think that's B tier. Yes, I think that is B tier done. In A tier, Killed of the First Flame. Kinda similar. The Strange Doll gives you a clue of where to go, does it? I must have missed that. What clue does it give you? Yeah, Killed of the First Flame is so fucking cool thematically and aesthetically. And just going through it like once or twice is really cool. Because it isn't very long and it isn't that much of a pain in the ass. It's brought down one by a lack. In part, it's funny. It's kind of paradoxical. It's brought down by a lack of content and how short it is and how there's nothing there. But it's also brought down by the fact that when you're fighting Gwyn, you have to run all the way through it all over again every time. I wish there'd been some kind of happy medium. I wish they could have made this a bigger area with a bonfire halfway through. So you've got more content in a really cool, aesthetically, thematically interesting area, and you also don't have to run through the whole fucking area every time you want to get to Gwyn, which is a fight that you're going to die a lot in. This was the most pain in the ass run up in the game. The doll's description mentions that it belongs to someone who fled to a cold and painted world. I guess I still struggle to imagine a lot of players immediately being like, oh, the big painting in Anor Londo. Now that I have that, I can get in the painting, you know? It does give you a kind of clue, but I don't think that's like... I still don't think that's particularly good or really helpful, you know? So yeah, Killed of the First Flame is like... It needed a bit more, including a bonfire. Because the run up to Gwyn was... Well, honestly, it was the last stream. But the last hour and a half of the last stream, having to run up to Gwyn every time was like one of my least favourite parts of the game. Just having to run through 4 Black Knights. Like a 3-minute run up for a fight that could end in like 30 or so seconds or even less. And I know I said I'm not taking bosses into account, but I'm taking the run up to the boss into account. You know, because that is still the area. And how often you have to do it and how bad it is. And that sucks. That was one of my least favourite parts of the whole game. Okay. Can't totally decide now, actually. I'm in my top 7. I think I'll put Undead Burg here, like proper Undead Burg. Because I don't love the lower area with the dogs. Talking streams like these are nice. It really helps build our paranormal relationships. Thanks, Little Dingus. It's all in the pursuit of making you give me money. I figured it out blind. Whatever. Got some fucking Mensa members in chat. Ooh, I need to take the doll to the painting. Whatever. You guys immediately figured it out. Whatever. I don't care how smart you are. I have a degree and I didn't figure it out. So, say that, Miyazaki. I'll tell him that. Tell him that myself. I have a degree and I didn't figure it out, which means your game is badly designed. Means bad game design. Yeah, Undead Burg is really cool. I love this area. Yeah, I had fun. aesthetically, I don't like the color palette. It makes sense for it to be as kind of grey and grisly and green. Tomb of the Giants isn't that bad. Well, I'm sure you can put it higher in your tier list, Rusty. Indeed. Unfortunately, this is my opinion, and we have different opinions. Therefore, it is where it is in line with the opinion that I have. Undead Burger is really fucking cool, but it's also, I don't know. I'm thinking of, I don't know how to rationalize this. I mean, I didn't love the fucking pig, but you know, I can't really hold that against it. I'm struggling to find what to say about Undeadburg. I just think it's a really good starting area, and not much more. It's big. There's a lot of exploration. Maybe I don't like again. I don't love the lower part with the lead up to the Capra Demon, where you're just getting fucking ganked by assassins and dogs and shit. I don't love finding the key. Was it the Watchtower key? Whatever key you find to go back and then open the door by the dragon that takes you down to the lower Enderberg. I was watching Mark Brown or Game Maker's Toolkit's video on Dark Souls world design today, and he made the point that like that is not a door that you remember, you know, and he made me feel justified. He made me feel good about forgetting that door in my playthrough, because you remember doors like the one that goes through to the next area of Darkroot Garden with Artorias' crest, or you remember the door to Sen's Fortress. Those are memorable, but when you get that key, you don't think to come back to this stupid little inconspicuous door opposite a flight of stairs that you've gone up. You know, as YouTube doing that thing where it's like, do you want to continue watching? Yes, I do, you dumbo. Big dumb idiot. Whoops. So, I don't think I'm to blame for forgetting that. I think it's bad game design. But there's a lot of little cool bits to come back through, like the resonance key and getting the gold pine resin. Yeah. I don't know. I like it well enough. I think it's good. It's in the description of the key as well. Well, I'm a streamer, so think about that. Next, I'm going to put the Painted World. Aesthetically, very cool. I like the Painted World aesthetically a lot and thematically, but it also wasn't as fun as it looked nice. You know, the toxin makes a return in this area, which sucks. Even if there's an easy way to play around it, the harpies, the bird ladies are annoying, especially the way that like you fight a couple on like this rooftop, and then like two more just descend on you and fucking ambush you, and there's just nothing you could possibly have ever done about it. That sucked. Oh yeah, the fucking bone zone. I didn't even think about the fucking bone zone. There's a sewer. Oh god, does it have to go down? Yeah, it goes down. Sorry, never mind. I'm actually swapping it. I've remembered about the bone zone. There's a sewer of narrow alleyways with the bone wheel enemies. Fuck my life. What kind of fucking moronic intern put that in the game? Was that you, Miyazaki? Was that you? I'll slap the shit out of you if that was you. Unbelievable. I cannot believe. Dark Souls has been evil before, but that little area is one of the most diabolical things the game does. Fuck that. I'm so glad that I did the stupid glitch where you make the dragon stand up and just roll past him. It was cool, but it wasn't fun. You know, it was fun to look at, but to fight the enemies, I didn't like any of the enemies in this area. The bone wheels suck. The fucking toxin guys suck. The harpy ladies kind of suck. The fucking the phalanx was cool, but also they suck to fight. I never killed any of them. Yeah. And finding your direction was a bit hard here, but I don't think that necessarily makes it bad design. You know, I think it was meant to be a bit labyrinthian, so I don't really hold that against it. And now actually next to Undeadburg, I'll put the Royal Wood, which is just Darkroot Garden, but cooler, right? It is just a superior Darkroot Garden. This is the area nearby Artorias' area. I love what it does with the lifts and the shortcuts that link back to itself. The lift down to Casimir the Abyss, the lift from the Sanctuary. Just a nice looking area with the cool scarecrow kind of gardener looking enemies. The toxic dudes don't toxic you, you kill them with fire. Okay, I was just using arrows and letting the clouds stay away. But yeah. Yeah, Royalwood, aesthetically gorgeous, fun to play through, cool enemies, bit small, would have liked more of it, but links back into itself very cool. Cool shortcuts, got a cool merchant with a weird voice and a weird face. I liked everything about it. I don't have a single complaint really about Royalwood. Just think it was a neat area. And then Undead Parish. I don't know what it is. I never found weird, but the chapel in Undead Parish, or whatever, is one of my favourite places in the game. I just thought it was really cool. And when I think of it, I think of like feeling like I was good at Dark Souls for the first time, you know? Which is funny because I never figured out... What's up, some guy? I figured out really late how, like, where the stairs were. How to get upstairs. So I shot the fucking caster guy upstairs with an arrow and made him jump down and fight me. And I fought him downstairs in the main area. And then I went upstairs and realised, oh, there's like a whole ass area, you know, there's a whole ass thing going on here. But it's just cool. Like, I think of when I went in, killed the big guy, got the Firekeeper soul. The whole area around it with the boulders. Yeah, fighting the boulders, I think, is what made me good at the game. The first time I ran into the parish, I was running away from the boulders, I think, and then I got like ambushed by the fucking big guy, and I screamed. It's one of the loudest moments I shouted for the whole playthrough. I just wasn't expecting it, and then the mage threw me for a loop, and obviously this place has Andre, and that bonfire, and the lead into Sen's Fortress and Darkroot Garden. I just think it's really cool. Oh god, the like kind of bridgey area where you can see the forest all around you. The architecture and aesthetic is beautiful as well. Oh, and of course, yeah, this has the shortcut, the lifts back to Firelink Shrine, which is a moment that didn't blow me away, but I can understand why it blew a lot of players' minds, because that is probably the moment that you realise that the world is connected, right? So that is cool. So yeah, big fan of Undead Parish. Very cool. And now we're on to the top 3, chat, which is the tippity-toppity tier. This is hard, actually. Between these 3 is actually genuinely hard. I'm going to say Firelink Shrine 3rd. This is just an amazing hub. The way it constantly connects back into itself is so fucking cool. The way that the NPCs congregate, you know, the way that people you find out in the world come back, is not something I expected Dark Souls to do. But it's really cool. It's just an unreal hub, isn't it? I think about the aqueduct shortcut a lot when you open the gate from the other side and realise that the aqueduct is way longer than you ever thought. And there's a merchant at one end of it, and that connects you to Undeadburg, and it connects you to... where the fuck else is it? At the very end. Oh, to Lower Undeadburg. All the directions that this hub splays out in, all the merchants who come back, the funky stuff you do with the lift to get to Undead Asylum, the graveyard and getting into the catacombs, to the depths as well, yeah. I mean, I'm sure everyone's said all this before, but it's very impressive, the interconnected nature of it, the NPCs who come back. It's all just really good shit. It's the only place where you feel even remotely safe. Yeah, the Valley of Drakes and New Londo Ruins and everything. Yeah, it's the only place you feel safe. It's your home, you know. It's where you feel cozy, and where you have a lot of the game's most notable interactions and meet a lot of the game's most notable characters. It's exactly what a hub world in this kind of game should be. Serves its purpose absolutely beautifully, and then goes the extra mile. Nice music, nice atmosphere, just a nice place. And sometimes in Dark Souls, just need a nice place, you know, nice place to go to. Did I kill Lortrek early? Lortrek killed himself, baby. Part 3 of the compilation on YouTube. Check it out. You're gonna want to see that. It might have been the highlight of the whole run. Yeah. Firelink is never topped in the series. I can believe that. Number 2 is Sen's Yes. Number 2 is Sen's Fortress. You know what? If more of Sen's Fortress was the outside area... Are you still doing no spoilers? What do you mean? I finished the game, some guy. So I'm doing a tier list. If more of Sen's Fortress was the outside area, I actually think this would be my number 1. Because there's no single enemy that pisses me off as much as an enemy in Anor Londo. For a second playthrough? Oh no, it's fine, it's fine. You can tell me about stuff. I won't play it again for a while, I don't think, because I'll move on to Dark Souls 2 first. Yeah, if more of the area of Sen's Fortress is the outside bit, I think it'd be cooler. The inside bit is cool, but not that fun. I had it hyped up to me a lot by chat. Oh, Sen's Funhouse, you know, here comes all the crazy shit. And all the traps were like stuff I was expecting. I was like, okay, there's pressure plates. It's very cool. And I mentioned this, hang on, I'm going to exclamation mark backlogged. Over on my backlogged, I wrote a review of Dark Souls recently. It's the most recent thing I've reviewed. I'm sure for people who were there during Sen's Fortress, you will know, I was shooting the pressure plates with arrows, which apparently no one in chat had ever seen before. And chat were popping off over that. They're like, oh my god, I've never seen this before. The fact that you can just experiment like that is so cool and such a compliment to the game. I was triggering the pressure plates with arrows, just shooting them with my bow and arrow instead of stepping on them. And that was super fucking sick. That I was just able to think of that and just experiment and be rewarded for my lateral thinking. But as far as the traps go, it was all like what I was expecting. Like, yeah, okay, there's boulders. Yeah, okay, there's pressure plates. Yeah, there's big guillotines. There's enemies who knock you off narrow bridges. And getting knocked off narrow bridges is never fun. Never feels good. But the little puzzle you do with... Okay, because you talk about Firelink being a safe zone is taken away mid-game before Anor Londo. Yeah, some guy... if you watch the YouTube compilation, part 3, someone else tells me this. And that's why I attack Lautrec. And then what happens, happens. Yeah. Yeah, the traps are kind of what I was expecting, but the little puzzle you do with, like, pulling the lever to redirect the boulder so you can explore is really cool. The bit where you run up to that, and you basically have to go as soon as you see a boulder go past. You have to run uphill as fast as possible and get into the room before the boulder drops is very cool. I like that a lot. A little bit puzzle solving, a little bit of, like, you know, changing the terrain, changing the way things are. Very neat. But the outside area is what I'm talking about. That's my good shit right there. God, the outside area of Sen's Fortress is so fucking cool. I don't know how to feel about that one bonfire that you get to from just falling off a ledge. I spotted it from just looking around, and you can just look around and see it, which is cool. It's a lot less offensive than the Lost Izalith bonfire. But I still don't know how to feel about it, because it does go against everything the game has taught you. But that whole outside area with the giants launching boulders at you, fighting the giant, is so fucking cool. Picard and that other big guy, I don't know what their deal was, but I'm very interested in them. And the boss fight, the whole aesthetic of the boss fight, just where it is, you know, where you are, is just so cool. Really cool area. I like Sen's Fortress a lot, but I like one part of it a lot more than I like the other. The other is fine, bit dingy. I think I had it a bit overhyped to me personally. And then, of course, I'm sure this is the obvious pick, right? I'm sure this is the choice that everyone makes for the top pick for the best area in the game, is Anor Londo. Literally, my only gripe with Anor Londo is how much I hate those fucking brain gargoyle enemies. I did not summon once throughout the whole playthrough, some guy. Literally didn't do it. Literally, my only gripe with Anor Londo is those... Well, actually, my other gripe is the run-up to Ornstein and Smo. Is not fun either way. Both bonfires are not close enough to Ornstein and Smo, and it's a real ordeal to get to that fight every time. But yeah, Anor Londo, aesthetically and thematically beautiful, just the coolest looking fucking place in the game. One of the coolest looking places I've ever seen in any video game. Just immaculate. The quietness of it all, you really feel like a badass going through Anor Londo, taking out all these fucking giant knights and black knights and silver knights and so many knights, so many guys in armor, but you just fucking wade your way through them. and it's just so fucking cool. The rafter room, I really like the rafter room, but if people hate it, maybe I just had a really good experience, as I'm sure you've seen. But my music, okay. Pardon me. I've seen what happened on YouTube, Miz, with Twilight and Orlando. It does look very cool, and that only adds to it, right? The fact that that's a thing that happens is so fucking cool. Yeah, I know about Guinevere and Gwendolyn. I skipped Gwendolyn, but I'll do that on like a repeat playthrough. But that's another wrinkle for it. It's so fucking cool that happens, right? The whole thing is an illusion, and it descends into Twilight. You just can't beat it. Aesthetically and thematically, and like the game feel is incredible as well. It really feels like you are, like, it feels like the fuck. You know what it makes you think of? Makes you think of the last act of Shrek 2. You know the end of Shrek 2 when they get the giant fucking gingerbread man and they're just wading through far, far away. This is far, far away in Dark Souls, right? And you're the gingerbread man, and you're just going through fucking murking everyone. And then Ornstein and Smo are the guys who launch the fucking trebuchet at you and fucking kill you in the river. I can just imagine that cover of I Need a Hero playing as you go through Anolondo. It's the most, simultaneously the most triumphant, holding out for a hollow, not bad. Simultaneously the most triumphant and the most oppressive part of the game. You know what I mean? Such a roller coaster and a range of emotions. It's the best. And it's the fact that it comes right after Sen's Fortress as well. It's this double whammy of the two best areas in the game, one after another. And there you have it. There's my Dark Souls area tier list. Dare I even ask what people disagree on? Because I'm fairly certain I know what the big what the big disagreement would be. Which is your fourth best area? Like I say, they're ordered within tiers, so it's left to right. The best is at the left. So Undead Parish. Can I make the list larger? I don't think I can, but I think I can zoom in on my browser a little bit. Is that better? That should help. There you go. Aside from Lost Eyes list, which I'm fairly certain everyone in chat disagrees with me on. Not bad, Fudj. I honestly think this is solid, even if I would shift stuff myself. Yeah, what are you guys thinking? What are the big disagreements aside from Lost Eyes list? Because that goes without saying. I think the top and high tiers are pretty agreeable, right? I would think. Blighttown is BIMO as far as areas go. I can honestly see an argument for Blighttown going higher. I didn't hate it. I didn't particularly like it either. Yeah, I really wanted to put Duke's Archives higher. Maybe it should go a bit higher. I don't know. I thought it was really cool to look at. It was really aesthetic, but I thought it was wholly unfun to navigate. Wholly, like, I hated all the enemies in that area. The fucking casters, the archers. Ugh. And having to deal with them from, like, up above, and then you get a hit on the caster and he warps to the side of the fucking room. So you go back down and turn the lever and turn the stairs back around and go back up again and, well, whatever, man. Just not fun. It's a shame because I really like the idea of it and I really like the aesthetics of it. But you know, yeah. There you have it. I think that's generally pretty agreeable stuff. The top, I would say 4 in particular. The top 4 areas of this game are like absolutely goat status. Maybe Royal Wood is a slightly bit too high, but I don't know. I think Royal Wood's really cool. You know, the top 4 are like goated. Okay, I'm gonna move on to bosses in just a moment, chat. I'm gonna pay the bills real quick. Gonna run some ads. I'll be back. Un momento for bosses. Hello again, chat. You'll have to forgive my my eating, but I haven't eaten in 8 hours. Hang on, I'm gonna fill up my glass of water real quick as well. Actually, hang on. Because these are chilly heat wave, and you never know. I am a white male. They may prove to be too much for me. I may need a tall glass of water to neutralize the heat sensation that I'm experiencing. But I haven't eaten in a very long time and I'm very hungry, so yeah. Anyway, to match my suitably hot takes, let's move on to bosses. I'm gonna name the tier lists here. I'm gonna do difficulty first. Yeah, I'm gonna do the ones that gave me the most trouble. So hard as balls. Hard as less hard balls. A bit hard. I'm really pushing the boat out of these tier titles. Not that hard. And obviously unhard. And we've got a very fitting song for this. There you go. 5 tiers I think is good. So yeah, do difficulty first. Oh fuck yeah, Wild Canyon. This song is so underrated. People always talk about Pumpkin Hill, but like Wild Canyon and Aquatic Mine are both better. This song fucking goes. Absolutely slaps. No, I haven't. I haven't, Saladingus. Hope that answers your question. Man, I'm gonna go from easiest to hardest because I want the top 4 or so to be kind of yeah. We'll start with the easiest bosses. So here's an obvious one. Where is he? There he is. I legitimately, like, in the pinwheel boss fight, I was like kind of walking around a bit, like waiting for something to happen, him to do something. And when I hit him, I didn't really expect anything to happen. I expected to get my ass beat and something really bad happened. And then he just died. He just fucking crumbled under my weight. I was not expecting him to go down like that. Apparently he has a second phase, I heard someone saying. Pinwheel is designed to be tackled at the beginning of the game. I don't believe that. I don't believe that because the catacombs leading up to him are so hard. Like, I did it after Anor Londo and it was hard, you know? So I don't know if he is designed to be tackled at the beginning of the game. He's right after that fucking wheel, the bone wheel level, you know? My understanding of chat is that no one ever goes through catacombs early. Yeah, this boss, there's just nothing to say, right? Like, you hit him twice and he dies. I can't, was he designed to be a joke? You know? I don't know. I don't know if he was supposed to, I don't know if he was supposed to be a joke. Or if they just kind of were out of whack with the design. Maybe they thought the catacombs was a lot easier than it was. And they thought you could feasibly go through it early. But it's not. You go through it early, Metroid? That's crazy. The Crossbreed Priscilla is a bit like Pinwheel in that her area is actually pretty hard. You're lulled into a false sense of non-security. You're like, oh god, you know, the boss of this area is surely going to have it in for me. And then she goes down like 3 hits. She has one gimmick, and then she just goes down like a fucking, you know, like you're cutting through paper. She barely did anything to me. She barely hit me. She hit me like 2 or 3 times, and it didn't do much damage. And then I hit her back like 4 or 5 times. She was dead. There's so little to say about Crossbreed Priscilla, but I'll talk more about that in like terms of design later. Asylum Demon. This is an obvious one, right? I guess You could technically consider this hard if you don't know to run away when he first comes down. But aside from that, even any player who can come back and just wail on this guy a little bit and have him dead and done with and whatnot, you know? I actually died to him in the original like fight when I had a weapon. But you know, I was bad at the game. I was new to it. I even recognized then, I was like, wow, this guy's clearly a piece of piss. This guy surely has to be like so easy. Why didn't I return from whence thou came? Because I knew that I was going to be making a tier list, and I wanted it to be as comprehensive as possible. Even though I didn't do Gwendolyn. So Gwendolyn isn't going to be on either of these lists, because I couldn't be asked. But I wanted to fight as many things as I possibly could. And I knew that there was a boss in the Painted World. I wanted to see what it was like. I think those might literally be the only 3 bosses in the game that I would say aren't hard, right? I'm looking at it. I actually can't tell what a couple of these are from their pictures. Like, this is Gwyn. It's a really weird picture they've picked for Gwyn. I can't totally tell what this is at the end here. Fuck. Or this. I can't tell these two for the life of me. Maybe I'll kind of narrow it down through a process of elimination as we go. But these two are not immediately occurring to me. Weird. A couple of them are kind of hard to make out. Okay, well, in the not that hard tier, I might have been over leveled when I fought him. And I think there's still a few bosses I put below him. I mean, I don't know how to feel about this, because I had everyone telling me that Capra Demon's really hard. But Capra Demon might have been the only boss in the game that I killed on my first attempt. Right? Oh, Centipede Demon. I killed Centipede Demon on my first time. I know that a lot of people have trouble with Capra Demon, so I'm almost hesitant to put him here. But speaking from my own personal experience, I did literally kill him first try. You know? I just ran away from the dogs. I separated the dogs. I knew to separate him. And I just did it. You know, I'm doing it based on my own... I can't possibly, like... I have to speak from my own personal experience. You know, I can't possibly inherit other people's experiences. All I can tell you is that I killed the Capra Demon on the first try, which everyone seemed surprised by, because everyone apparently had a lot more trouble with this guy than I did. And granted, I had done the bell gargoyles and the butterfly, so I think I was a bit over leveled, but still, I just knew to run away, and I killed him. So, I think God Gamer, thank you. Yeah, the room does suck. Yeah, I had the least trouble with him of anyone else that I'll put above him, so I had to put him there, even though I know a lot of people have trouble with him. Sorry, what is this boss and what is this boss at the end? Can anyone even tell? Hang on, is that Calamite? Okay, that's Quelaag. And that is Calamite, I'm almost certain. What is this? The one in between the Stray Demon and the Bed of Chaos. I genuinely can't figure it out. Iron Golem? No, because Iron Golem's further on the left, isn't it? Iron Golem's here. This looks like Goth to me. I genuinely don't know. I'll try and zoom in a bit more. If I can. Look. It's just a picture of Goth. Iron Golem's here. This is Artorias. That is Calamite, as hard as it is to make out. I genuinely don't know. I have no idea what this picture represents. I don't know who made this tier list, but I can't figure that one out for the life of me. I guess we'll hope to get there, whoops, by process of elimination. Oh, Taurus Demon? Yeah, I think it is, right? Yeah, it is Taurus Demon. Yeah, okay, thank you, chat. That is so hard to make out. What a weird picture. actually. Oh, yeah, it could have been the Unchained Kringus from the Galugas caverns as well. I didn't think about that. I always forget about the Unchained Kringus. Okay, next I think I'll probably put... Well, you know, the other one that I killed first try. I think this is Centipede Demon. It's hard to make out from these pictures. Pretty sure that's Ceaseless Discharge. Pretty sure that's Fire Stage Demon. Pretty sure this is Centipede Demon. Centipede Demon is the other boss that I killed first try. Pretty sure there's Rob from work. I think there's another boss that some people have had a lot of trouble with, and I can see it because there's a very small area to fight it on, and it's surrounded by lava, but he just kept doing his jump attack over and over again. I can't tell if I got lucky. I didn't figure out how to kill the Ceaseless Discharge until very late, so I didn't do Demon Ruins or anything around that until very late, so I think I might have been very over-leveled when I fought him, but I just kind of whacked away at him, and he was dead really quickly. No problem. Honestly, I feel like I didn't even really get to experience the boss fight with him. Because he just did this one move over like 7 times in a row and I just killed him like that. He hardly did anything to me. I think I remember in the stream just being really underwhelmed, being like, oh, what even was that? That was a boss? I don't even really know what just happened. I don't know what he was trying to do to me. I'm sure if I got knocked into the lava, it would have been really annoying. But he didn't even come close to doing that to me once. The area was so small and it just wound up not being a problem, which is weird. I think I put Taurus Demon next. This boss took me a while. I have 40k channel points. When are we getting real channel point rewards, Mr. Fudj? I'll think about it. I'll take suggestions. I'm willing to take suggestions. But if you want me to really make, you know, if you really want to make me do stuff, then you know, gotta throw some moolah at me, I'm afraid. So don't be being like, oh, do 5 push-ups. Nah, donate. Taurus Demon, I was there for a while, but that's because it's early in the game. You know, I know that there's a lot of ways to cheese this boss. I know you can knock him off the bridge. You can do plunging attacks and shit. Yeah, honestly, Centipede is the no idea what happened, but I won boss. That's how it was for me. Yeah. I was fighting Taurus Demon for like an hour, but when you're new to the game, everything seems harder than it really is. You know, I know in retrospect that it wasn't that hard. There's a lot of exploits, and he has like really quite predictable, easy to dodge attacks. And I'm sure if I went back against him now, even with like, you know, low level early game equipment, I think I'd wash him. I mean, to be too cocky, I'm trying to flex too hard. Take that, Taurus Demon. You've been called out. Kind of vicious promo on Taurus Demon right now. This is a shoot, baby. If I see you again, if I see you in Reading, England, Taurus Demon, I will mix your shit. Spin your jaw, mate. Whatever it is. Fucking tough guy UK lads say. Also gonna put Seath in this tier. Seath is like the moment you... Seath is not hard, it's like figuring out what to do, right? And even figuring out what to do isn't that hard. Once you're like, oh, I destroy the crystal at the back, I feel like the fight just becomes really easy. And I fought him as my first Lord. Seath was my first of the Lord Souls. So I was about as reasonably leveled for him as I possibly could have been. Yes, in my first fight with Seath, he also destroyed the crystal himself, and I nearly killed him first try. I killed him... I killed him second try. He well and truly did seethe though. Cope, seethe, mauled. Yeah, he destroyed his own crystal for me. He really wanted to fucking die. I guess he's had enough of it. You just wail on him, right? You just dodge the crystals and wail on him, and it's that simple. It's just a matter of like figure out that you've got to destroy the crystal, which I didn't even have to do because he fucking did it for me. So, what's that, Passion Crow? Did I get Seath's tail weapon? I did not. No, I didn't know he had a tail weapon. It sounds cool though. Seath's gross, by the way, with little tentacles and stuff. What a gross little man. All his lore about how he's trying to make like a dragon woman. And he's like Stealing kids and women. Gross. What a little bitch. Seath the Scaleless. If I see you in Reading, England, I'll fuck you up as well. Do you understand me? Hot takes already. You should have seen my area tier list, Ashen. And then I put Gaping Dragon as well. And not that hard. I feel like Gaping Dragon could have gone below. I don't know if maybe I fought the area. I don't know if maybe I fought him earlier than you were supposed to. It kind of felt it. But you know, Gaping Dragon is like, he felt right for that point in the game. The walking attack is a problem. His scariest attack is when he walks, right? The scary. Look at this fucking thing. Look at that fucking thing and think about how the scariest thing this thing does to you is walk. That's funny. That walking move fucking killed me more than anything, and it's a real punish for like being in on his feet and legs, which feels like where you're supposed to be, and that's a bit annoying. But you know, I don't mean to be rude, but how long are you gonna be crunching for? Are you one of those like, I hate food sound people, Jam? I can abstain. It's fine. I'll leave it if you're. Oh my god, eating sounds make me want to puke. Yeah, the walk attack. He has the big wind-up attack where he slams his head/neck/face down, and that attack's a bit scary. But there's a huge punish window on that, you know. And I remember getting hit by it a few times and being like, "Oh, that didn't actually do as much as I thought it would." All of his attacks are very predictable. They've got big wind-ups. It's just that he has a lot of health, and you're there for a while, and there's more opportunity to get messed up. But for the most part, perfectly reasonable fight. This took me like what, 5 or 6 tries, I think. Which isn't that much, really, when you think about what Dark Souls bosses are like. There's one more boss I'm thinking about putting here. And I'm not sure. But I think I will, frankly. I don't know if this is controversial. I don't know if this is a hot take or what. But I found Sif pretty easy. I think I killed Sif by either my 2nd or 3rd try. I also think I killed him quite late compared to a lot of people. But this is just like a roll fight. You know what I mean? Nah, that's cool, Jam. I won't be on that long anyway, and I've gotten what I needed out. So it's okay. I'm halfway through the bag. I feel better. I feel energized. It's better when you fight Sif after the DLC. Does the fight change when you've killed Manus? I know there's a different cutscene, right? Or is it Artorias? I don't know. But yeah, like this is roll the fight. This is the fight that teaches you how important rolls are, right? You just roll through all his attacks and that's just it. This is good practice for Gwyn. Gwyn feels like Sif, like powered up. Just a cutscene. Okay. Yeah, Sif feels like baby Gwyn, and like it's roll the fight and then take your punish and then keep rolling. And I did this with mid rolls as well. You know, like Gwyn, I had to change the fast rolls. I had to change the fast rolls for Manus, but Sif, I did this very roll-oriented fight with mid-rolls, and I think that says a lot, because he doesn't really have anything else that dangerous that you can't... There's nothing that Sif can do to you that you can't just roll through with decent timing. Alright. Now we're on the a bit hard tier, I think. We're on the mid-tier. It's between these two. These are the next two. I think I'll put Iron Golem here. The most annoying thing about Iron Golem is getting knocked off the fucking arena. None of his attacks are actually as scary as they look, considering how big he is and that he's fucking made out of metal and that you're a tiny, silly little man. This is the fight that I think taught me to two-hand. You know, just get your damage in. Like, his wind-ups are so big that you can quite confidently switch between shield and two-hand pretty quickly. This is the turning point, I think, where I started two-handing a lot more, and it started to feel really good, and I started to learn, and I kind of started using my shield a bit less, because I'd shield stuff from this guy and still get pushed off the fucking edge and die, you know? Fun facts at the time, the Golem was Miyazaki's favourite boss. Interesting. This took me, again, about 5 or 6 tries, and the thing is, it's tense all the way throughout because the fear of getting knocked off the whole is real, very real the whole time. But none of his actual attacks are really that scary, and he's surprisingly easy to stagger. I staggered him more than I was expecting to. I was not expecting him to like do his silly little stagger animation as much as he did. So this guy was fine, perfectly reasonable. I suspect I probably have Moonlight Butterfly higher than a lot of other people do. No, that's after Ashen. That'd be next. I suspect most people wouldn't have Moonlight Butterfly this hard. And I fought it very early on. And it was one of the bosses I spent the most time against. I think I spent like 2 solid hours fighting this thing. But to be honest, even after people have told me to roll forward on the big spread attack, I still don't really get that. I still struggle to see how that could help me avoid the big spread attack that I couldn't avoid for the life of me. The fucking drop shot attack it does. I tried to start running away the moment I saw it flying up, and I still couldn't evade that. And there was an attempt where it killed me when it had like 1 hit left with that fucking attack. The other 2 attacks, the 3 missiles at 1, are pretty easy to roll. And the big laser beam is easy to roll through, but I find the spread attack really problematic. And the drop shot attack. And I was a melee build, so I'm sure like a ranged weapon and magic and stuff is easy mode on this shit. But for me, I had to wait. I had to go slow and be patient and whatnot, and yeah, just gave me quite a bit of trouble, you know? So, yeah. I think this is Ceaseless Discharge. I don't even know what to do about Ceaseless Discharge. I just don't know what to say about Ceaseless Discharge. This is Demon Fire Sage. And what is this again? Wait, is that Quailag? God, these pictures are so weird. I can't tell if this is Ceaseless Discharge or if this is Quailag. Do I have to zoom in more again? Hang on. You pick these pictures, man. Listen, I think this is Ceaseless Discharge, and I think that's Quailag, and we'll just have to fucking treat it like that, I guess, because I can't tell for the life of me. Either way, take this as Ceaseless Discharge. Ceaseless Discharge is one of the biggest enigmas in the game to me. The last one is Quailag. It looks like Demon Fire Sage to me. I'm almost positive this is Demon Fire Sage. He's got the stick and everything. I think this is Quailag. It's just really hard to make out. I don't know, man. I put Quailag and not that hard. Oh, hang on a minute. That is Quailag. Shit. Which means... Right. Which means... This is the Centipede Demon. I think. This is Demon Fire Sage, that's Ceaseless Discharge. Okay, the Centipede Demon picture is really fucking weird. But yeah, no, that was Quailag, that picture. It looks like the Centipede Demon. God, whatever, man, whatever. Yeah, it's fine. Ceaseless Discharge, I just didn't know what to do. Like, I spent the whole game not knowing what to do about him because he was just one-shotting me. And even then, I think I came back to the fight and I realised it's just a matter of like knowing what to do. It doesn't... I don't know if maybe I was overpowered and I killed him like faster than most people do or you're supposed to. But like... Oh, hang on. I should put Centipede Demon here because I killed it on basically my first try. On literally my first try, actually. It's an enigma to me because I spent the whole game not knowing what to do about it, and it was the last area I came back to before the final boss in DLC. And then it was easy. I learned, like, oh, just roll, just avoid the attacks. But even when the attacks were hitting me, they weren't one-shotting me like they were before. I don't know. I just don't know what to say about this one. It's really hard to put in a box how hard this was. It's a bit gimmicky, I guess. Speaking of gimmicky bosses, we'll get there. So I think he belongs like right in the middle because I hardly even know how to analyze that and pick it apart because he was one-shotting me for so long. Even when I like did Anno Londo and came back, you know. Okay. Above that, I think, is probably Demon Fire Sage. Not much to... Okay, see you, Saladingus. Have a nice night. Not much to say other than the explosion fucking sucks. I hate that explosion attack. So obnoxious. The range so silly. This fight is hard depending on how much he does the explosion attack, and he seems to do it a lot all the time. And that's it. There's very little to say about Demon Fire Sage because it's a reskin of a reskin. But you fight it later in the game than Stray Demon, generally, I think. And so it just wasn't quite as bad. Above that, I think now I'll put Quelaag. This took a couple attempts. It was a very long fight. I did a lot of running away from Quelaag. I remember my trigger finger genuinely hurt from holding down sprint. After this fight, I had to rest my hands after this fight because how much time I spent fucking running away from Quelaag and her fucking ridiculous huge sword swipes and shit. But I think it was like my 4th or 3rd attempt. I took it slow and steady. Whacked her about. I found that when you come in from the side, it's really easy. And also, I wasn't quite as good at rolls at this time, but I think if I went back to it now, being way better with my rolls, I think I'd probably have an even easier time with this fight, because her scariest attack is that big sword swipe, right? When she stops and does the flame breath, that's a really free, easy punish. She gives you a lot of windows. It's just a long fight because she has a lot of HP, and she spends a lot of the fight fucking chasing you and spreading lava on the fight. This is very medium difficulty. I took it down like 4 or 5 tries, but the attempt I killed her on was very, very long-winded. Took a very long time. And then I think Nito. The funny thing about Nito is that, if you take Nito as just a boss on his own, he's a pussy. He's a complete pushover. He's one of the easiest in the game. Nothing Nito does is really that scary at all. In fact, he actively helps you. The scariest thing about this fight is the skeletons around him, right? And how fucking many there are, and how they keep respawning. But Nito even handles them for you with his AoE attack, which you want to be... It's weird. I feel like you want to be close to him to bait him into doing the AoE attack so he kills the skeletons, but by being close to him, you risk being killed by the skeletons because they're the problem. Nito is not the problem in this fight. None of his attacks are that scary. He's got pretty easy tells. I noticed that he screams before he does the big red spike attack. Even his grab doesn't do that much damage. None of his attacks do that much damage. He's a big target. He's easy to hit. He's easily punishable. It's literally the skeletons around him that are the problem. And so because of that, I did die a few times. But after getting the gist of it, you just want to stay on him like a fly on shit and get him to do the AoE and then run, basically. I feel like it's a bit of luck. It's a bit of luck. You get in close, hope he does the AoE, and hope that you could run away and get through the skeletons before it happens. He kills the skeletons, you run back in, you wail on him some more. You know. And also I know that there's an exploit where if you just stand at the front half of the arena, the big skeletons never even get up. So I'm sure that makes it much easier even. Fun fact, if you two-hand block, the red sword attack just plain misses? Really? That's weird. There might be one more boss in this tier. I'm debating it. I'm not sure. But yeah. When I first fought Stray Demon, I think I must have just missed a trick or something. I don't know. He was fucking me up so much when I first fought this thing. This thing was messing me up. The only other thing that messed me up this much on my first few attempts was Manus. He was... I was taking the full damage every time, which sucks. Both these bosses, the last two bosses talked about, you have to take full damage to get to, which I really dislike. The explosion was just completely bodying me. It was... The range was ridiculous. I couldn't really tell the wind-up. I couldn't tell which direction it was going to blow up in, what direction it was going to come from, where it was going to hit me from. It just seemed impossible to play around. And then somehow, when I finally killed him, I just had those attempts where, you stay on his butt cheeks. I would just stand around his cankles, just fucking chopping away at his cankles, you know? It's hiding behind the pillars. I learned, the camera is the enemy in this fight. I learned not to lock on. When you have an enemy with a big AoE explosion like this that he uses very frequently, I feel like you just can't lock on. You just shouldn't. And as soon as I stopped locking on and just stayed near his cankles, it suddenly felt really easy. But God, man, for like the first like half an hour, I was just throwing myself at this thing. It seemed fucking impossible. I was like, I wanted to go away and come back later. Because I can't do this fucking thing. He's one-shotting me. The explosion still practically one-shot me. I hate that attack. I hate that attack. That both he and the Fire Sage Demon have. There's just no visual tell as to where it's going to come from. The range is ridiculous and deceptive. And the wind-up of the attack is really hard to read, I find. I really dislike it. But I think that's it for the a bit hard tier. So in this tier, I'm gonna put the Sanctuary Guardian here. The lightning attacks, it's fair to say, are the big problem here. They're so fast. Even if you like start running as soon as you can see the tell, it feels like you basically have to jump or roll through it because often running is not fast enough. The lightning attacks are really scary, and the volleys that this thing fucking hits you with, every like melee attack it does isn't that bad. The fucking combo it does is nice and punishable, especially when it does like less than 5 hits. The swooping attack isn't that bad. Generally, you get a lot of winners to hit on the ground, but the lightning is a serious problem. So I imagine if you could be bothered to like build out your build to be lightning resistant for this fight, you could make it dramatically easier. This took me about 5 or 6 attempts, and it was just a matter of like getting used to the lightning attacks and taking my punishes on his melee attacks and stuff. He was hard, definitely, but nothing crazy. Is that 2-point hospital OST? This is Simpsons Hit and Run. 2-point hospital. This boss has like 3 types of damage, so it's kind of hard to build around. Yeah, true, I guess. But yeah, none of his melee attacks on the ground felt particularly bad. It was almost entirely the lightning. Okay. We have another total fucking enigma of a boss here. How do you even talk about this boss? If you come back to his reader, there's 2 of them? Seriously? Really? I didn't even know. Holy shit, really? Someone made a joke about that in my chat. I thought they were joking. It might have been you. I thought they were joking. Okay. It may not have been a joke. That's crazy. I can't imagine fighting 2 of those fucking things at a time. Anyway, Bed of Chaos. I legitimately don't know how to talk about Bed of Chaos, right? I'm going to try not to say too much, otherwise I'll be spoiling all the stuff I'm going to say later. But this is just a boss fight. Like, your build doesn't matter, your skill hardly matters. This is more than any other boss in the game. It's just you throw your head at it over and over again until the wall breaks, right? You just kind of wait to get a good run, and then that's just it. It's so weird. What a profoundly weird boss. It took me a long fucking time to kill it, but I don't know if I'd say it was hard. It was hard, but just in a really weird nonsense way that we'll get to. You know, obviously, like, once you've done it, you've just done it. It's such a weird boss to even know how to start talking about from difficulty, because I don't find it hard to believe at all that someone could just do this first try. If someone tells you to do Bed of Chaos first try, I wouldn't be surprised, but I also wouldn't be surprised if someone tells me Bed of Chaos took them 5 hours and 100 tries. It's a fucking lottery, you know? It's hard to even talk about. It's just a dice roll. Weirdly enough, the way the boss functions with its attacks is like 300% easier on the first try, but reloading with the broken floor is harder. Huh. What I really hate about this boss is it's so big and it's hard to take in all that it's got. So when it does the flame sword attack, you don't realise that the hands are still free and it can still sweep at the same time, and it seems almost automatically set to sweep when you get within a certain range. So even if it's done the flame sword attack and you're thinking, oh god, okay, cool, you're in cooldown, I'm gonna run, it still just fucking sweeps, and it happens so fast sometimes when you get too fast. It feels like you absolutely cannot get to that like log walkway without it doing a sweep. It feels like it's engineered to do at least one sweep before you get to the walkway, and you're just gonna have to roll through it. That's how it felt to me. Yeah, the flake, because it's so big, it's like not entirely on camera, so you can't even see where the attacks are really coming from. You can't take it all in. I'll have more to say. I think it goes here in terms of difficulty. I was here for a while, but I don't know if difficulty is I don't know if difficult is really the right word. By the way, Gwendolyn, not on this list. I didn't fight Gwendolyn. So that leaves us with 7. And I'm going to put 4 kings next. This boss took me a while. I actually got 1 hit away from 4 kings, killing 4 kings really early on, and then it just died. 4 kings have one of my least favourite attacks in the whole game, and that's their AoE explosion. They have possibly the silliest AoE explosion in the game, right? Are we agreed? Like, this also feels like a random lottery. I shouldn't talk too much about quality. I just don't like that AoE explosion. You know, chat seems to agree. This is a DPS test. It's 4 kings can actually spawn more than 4 since their gimmick is time-based, not number-based. I had a lot of people talking about 5 kings and stuff. Oh god, yeah, the homing missile as well. Yeah. Like I was so annoyed. I rolled through that homing missile, like beautifully timed it. And you don't get rewarded for rolling through the homing missile. You do not get rewarded for doing the thing you're supposed to do because it just homes back in on you. What's the point, right? What do I do about that? I'm not gonna go off yet. This boss is kind of hard. Metroid is convinced that I struggled with the 4 kings so much because my build was awful for them specifically. Maybe, but a lot of my chat seemed to dislike and struggle with 4 kings as well. It was hardly only me, you know. I do think it was probably just quite a hard boss. And yeah, it is a DPS test, like a lot of people say, and I think I very much passed the DPS test. But yeah, maybe there were other things about my build holding me back. Who knows? I was here for a while. I think I was here for about an hour and a half, maybe an hour. I was very at the mercy of the RNG, yes. And the RNG fucked me over quite a lot with them doing that AoE explosion attack. Quite a lot. I remember I got a hit away from killing them, died, and thought, oh, no big deal. I can do it pretty soon. And then I was there for like another hour, all the time thinking, oh god, I came so close. And now having to deal with this for even longer, you know? Yeah. And I'm actually going to put Gwyn here. Gwyn is almost the perfect difficulty, I think, for the final boss. He feels really good in terms of difficulty. I'm trying not to factor the run-up to him in. We'll talk about that later. This is basically Sif, but on like another level, right? This is the whole level of like roll the boss fight. I cannot fathom how I'm genuinely curious to see someone beat this with like fat rolls. I actually really want to see someone fight Gwyn with like big heavy armor. I'm really curious actually. I might have to check that out. But this fight showed to me more than ever how important fast rolls are, and I know a lot of people have said that you can basically cheese him with parries and stuff, and I believe it. I just wasn't good enough at parries, and I couldn't be asked to try. And I was confident that I could do it with just the rolling. What are you guys going on about? Link to tier list? Just type in Dark Souls 1 boss tier list. And I don't think this is going to go on YouTube, Jimmy G. I don't know. Maybe I'll put it on YouTube. I don't know. I had a lot of people telling me that, oh man, I really want you to put the Dark Souls highlights on YouTube. And like, no one's watching them. You know? So I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, Gwyn doesn't have like that crazy attack that every boss has. You know, he doesn't have what feels like an ult. His worst attack, his scariest attack to me, is literally that one where he just goes. He just like, there's no wind up, there's no fucking animation, there's no anticipation whatsoever. He'll look really vulnerable. He'll just be standing there like he's ready to be punished, and then he just goes, and you're in a combo now. Then he's just fucking going, and you're like, whoa, when the fuck did this happen? When did this start? He has like, I swear to God, he has like a frame 1 attack. You know, a completely unreactable attack that he does that then just starts off a combo. That's the one thing I didn't really like about the fight. His range is insane. You have to pick your spots to heal so carefully because he closes distance so quickly. He's so fast, he has so much range. 3 attack frames and it's almost impossible to react to. Yeah, the fucking sucker punch, the noodle sword, whatever it is. That attack is like so inconspicuous and so silly and it's over so quick, but that is the biggest problem in the fight, I think. That and the thrust, which I tried to roll away from every time and it never worked. So you would say, you think surely I should try a different strategy, but I didn't. I just kept getting hit by it. His first attack he does, the big leaping charge, I think is pretty much a freebie, right? The first attack he does in the game, where he does the big leaping charge. It's basically a freebie. You just roll and avoid it and get like a free punish. So you basically get like free damage when the fight starts. Thank you, Miz. I felt pretty proud of it. I think I played Gwyn pretty well. And then finally in this tier, I'm going to put the Gargoyles. Gargoyles is a weird one because in terms of my personal experience with it, they might even go higher. They could be in like the top tier. They could be top 4. Gargoyles gave me personally, I would say, probably more trouble than the next boss I'm going to put on this list. But I also recognise that it's hard to say because it was very early in the game. I was very inexperienced. You know, it was the first big wall for me, Gargoyles. Fuck, Gargoyles messed me up, man. I think I might have spent the second most time on Gargoyles of any boss in the game. It's up there with Manus and Calamite and ONS for how long I spent on this fucking boss. Good lord. It didn't help that Andre was aggroed on me and I killed the merchant. But then, that's why I kind of put it here, because it was my first playthrough, and I think it's a large part of it probably comes down to the fact that I wasn't that good at the game yet, and I was still learning. But I do also think, and it seems that most people agree, that this is just a really fucking hard boss. This, I think, is what decides whether or not you're going to finish Dark Souls or not, right? If you get through this, I feel like you're kind of in it now. You're like, okay, I'm committed. I'm going to finish Dark Souls. This is a wall that I can see turning a lot of players off. More so than the Taurus Demon. More so than Undead Asylum. You know, this is the, like, you're in Dark Souls now. Last playthrough I two-shot both. I had the Gold Pine Resin. I remember I was using the Gold Pine Resin. I was like, oh my god, I do so much damage. Yes, Gold Pine Resin. And they killed me on every attempt I had the Gold Pine Resin. I couldn't find any more. And then I realised I'd have to do the fight without the Gold Pine Resin. When I finally killed these guys, I think I was out of Estus Flasks and down on like one hit. Holy shit. So yeah, in terms of how much problems these guys actually gave me, they're top tier. But recognising it in a more objective sense, recognising how early I was in the game, how inexperienced I was, how much I didn't know, I suspect maybe my experience was slightly inflated, and if I played back again against them, you know, I like to think I do quite a bit better. So in a more objective sense, I think they probably belong here. But they are top 5 for me. They are in my top 5. I don't know how many other people put them in the top 5, but yeah, they're top 5 hardest for me. Number 4 was Artorias. I had a really, really good first attempt against Artorias, and it made me feel really confident. I was like, okay, this is pretty easy, pretty simple boss, pretty easy. And then every subsequent attempt went so badly. Then I was like, oh, it's actually hard. Oh, it's actually really right. I realise now that it's actually really hard. I just had a really good first attempt. He's scary as shit, man. The fucking... Honestly, the big wind-up attacks, like the flip attack and the big leap attack, are my favourites because they're the ones that you feel like you can actually dodge and punish. Everything else is so scary. And the buff, yeah, I elected to just shoot him with arrows when he buffed. But there probably was merit to me running in and trying to stop him from buffing, because when he gets buffed, he's mad fucking scary, you know? I was here for like an hour and a half, going on maybe 2 hours. It's weird because none of his attacks feel like they do that much damage, but he just attacks so often, so much. It's so hard to find a fucking opening against Artorias. Your punish windows are so tight. You know, I think this was the fight where I started fast rolling, right? I'm not totally sure. It might have been Manus. I can't remember. It was either this or Manus where I was like, I think it was Manus that forced me to fast roll. It was. But I very much considered fast rolling here. I also did this with the Lightning Scimitar and found out only after that he's very resistant to lightning. So I made it harder for myself, as I did a few times throughout the game. So he's so aggro. Your punish windows, you get like 2 hits on him at a time, and that feels like max, you know? You get like 2 hits, basically. And getting a window to heal is so scary. Sometimes you just have to let him buff to heal. That's what I did a few times, because I was like, oh my god, I just need to heal. You know? Holy shit. So yeah. Artorias is number 4 for me. Now, I don't know if this is a hot take. I actually think this boss took me the longest overall. However, I think ONS is actually 3rd for me. I think I was at these guys for the longest. I think I was fighting just Ornstein and Smo over and over again for about somewhere between 3 and 4 hours. But I think I also made it harder for myself. I did and I didn't. You know, I had the lightning weapon, which Smo was weak to, but I'm almost positive that killing Ornstein first would have made the fight... I don't know. Because I know that Super Ornstein Phase 2 was scary as shit, but I also know that when I did the fight... when I was fighting... I know that when I did this fight, and I'm sure you'll remember, it's one of the things that I will never stop boasting about, I did the whole of Phase 2 without taking a hit against Super Ornstein, who was resistant to my weapon. I don't think there's any universe where I could ever have killed any major part. I don't think I could ever have taken out half of either of the other two bosses that are above him without taking a hit. Super Ornstein is the easy one, for real? Seriously? I don't know about that. I wonder if I would have found this fight easier if I took on Ornstein first. It didn't feel it. But it's weird. Even though these guys took me longer... You know what? These guys took me longer, but I was getting closer more consistently. You know? I feel like surely Super Smo would be so easy. Yeah. Super Smo sounds really easy to me. Ornstein is the problem in this fight. It's fucking Ornstein, man. Just... Ugh. The general consensus seems to be that Super Ornstein is tougher, and I took that on with a lightning weapon, which he was resistant to. So... Did I end up trying Super Smo at any point? I think I killed Ornstein first, like, once. And by the time I did, I just had no healing. You know? Super Smo has a big lightning AoE butt slam, which is annoying. So does Ornstein. Ornstein gets that from Smo. So he has all his crazy huge spear attacks, and he has that as well. But yeah, I will never forget spouting about how I did Super Ornstein entirely damageless. Did not take a hit the whole phase. Oh! Gaming, baby. Gamer stuff. So yeah, these bosses took me longer than the other two. But I got closer to beating them more often, more consistently. And it was like I was experimenting a lot with strategy, and they just didn't feel quite as oppressive and hard as the other two, to be honest. It's weird. Even though I know they took me longer, I also think that I was a much better player by the time I got to the other two. You know, and it still took me as long as it did. So yeah. Ornstein and Smo number 3 for me. Even though they took me the longest, and I popped off the most when I beat them, in hindsight, I think the other two are harder. It's just that I was a better player by then, and I was experimenting with strategies, and I might have approached the fight a bit weird. This song just stopped? No, it hasn't. Number 2 is Calamite. It's very close between the top 2 for me. I've gone back and forth on it. It was really hard to choose which was harder, but I do think that Calamite was second for me. I've got a lot to say about Calamite. For now, I will simply say that he was hard. That next slam attack is asinine. Oh man, so many things about the foot hitbox. The next swipe attack, I eventually learned that you've got to basically roll through his legs. But even then, sometimes you're just out of position. Sometimes he just turns his whole body and that's a hitbox. Sometimes it just doesn't work. There's so many times where you dodge through an attack that Calamite does, and it should work and it just doesn't. So often, so consistently, you are simply not rewarded for your rolls against Calamite. It doesn't feel like a Dark Souls fight. I'm going to try not to say too much that I'm going to say in the next tier list, but this fight was just really fucking hard. I had so much trouble with this. It took me like 2 hours. His health is huge. Takes you so long. The hitboxes are fucking all over the place. It's hard to talk about how hard he is without talking about how much I hate it. So I'll leave it there. You just know that Calamite was the boss I had the second most trouble with. Second hardest boss in my opinion. Very close to number 1. But I would just barely give number 1 to Manus. Who is like Calamite if Calamite made sense. You know, like the hitboxes make sense, the dodge windows make sense, and yet it's still preposterously fucking hard. Yeah, he's so aggressive. The combo attack, I still don't know how to avoid, really. Every time I avoided the combo attack, I feel like I just got lucky. Because he swipes both directions, and there's not enough time on the wind-up to run away or roll away. This was the fight that forced me to use fast rolls. This is the only fight in the game that genuinely forced me to like change my build permanently, and like made me realise how important fast rolls were. I simply had to use fast rolls for this fight. This motherfucker It's the only thing that fucked me up close to as hard as the Stray Demon did for the... This guy messed me up harder than the Stray Demon did. The first hour against this guy was me just not even getting him like halfway dead. The first hour of this guy was just me running to him and dying to him in like 10 seconds. I tried so hard to learn this fight and I just couldn't. I never even got the time to learn. This guy did not give me the time to learn how to fight him because he just kept fucking killing me as soon as I got there. I'd avoid maybe 1 or 2 attacks and hit him like 3 or 4 times, which did like no damage. I went through 3 different kinds of weapons, eventually setting on the Uchi Katana. Healing against Manus is a survival horror. Yeah, you have to get so lucky. Like, you basically have to wait for the big kind of 2-handed slam attack he does, roll out of the way of that and heal, or the other big leap attack, and just hope he doesn't attack right away after that, which he will very frequently. Healing against Manus is accepting that you're going to heal and then get hit immediately out of your heal, and just accept that you did technically heal at least a little bit. You know, you never get the full healing of the Estus Flask because you get fucking hit out of it, but at least you get a bit out of it, you know. You just hope that the attack he hits you with does less damage than the whole Estus Flask heals. Did I lock on during the fight? Not really. A little bit. When he was doing like big leap attacks, I'd lock on just to roll. But for the most part, no. It's hard to stay locked onto him because he's all over the fucking place, you know? So I recognised pretty soon that this was not a lock-on fight because he was so all over the place. This man feels like fighting demonic Donkey Kong. This is what it would feel like to get into a boxing ring with Donkey Kong who has rabies. This thing, he just doesn't stop fucking going. He just doesn't stop. This was the second hardest I popped off. So yeah. Oh, of course the spells. I can't believe I nearly forgot, but the spells as well. So many attacks. I did this fight. I fought this guy for over 2 hours. So many attacks I still just don't know how to dodge. The combo I still don't know how to dodge. And the magic attack, where he has all the spells around you. And then they all fly in on you. I tried timing my rolling around that perfectly, but I just couldn't. You know? I just couldn't. It seems like the window was really tight if that even is a thing you can do. Oh, what a fucking doozy, man. What a doozy of a boss. So yeah, it's very, very close between Manus and Calamite. I spent pretty identical amounts of time on them, I think. But I think Manus slightly pips it. Oh, there's a reset button. Good. Relief. There you go. Before I reset, chat, that is my take. That is my Dark Souls boss difficulty tier list. What's the general consensus? How do you guys feel? I think this is pretty agreeable. This is Leading Lights from Sonic Adventure. I think this is pretty in line with what most people feel, right? I suspect. I think probably I've got Butterfly a bit higher than most people do. Bed of Chaos and Nito too high. Okay, interesting. I actually thought about maybe putting 4 Kings above Gwyn, and there is a universe in which I can put Gargoyles above Artorias. I do think I actually overall had more trouble with Gargoyles than I did with Artorias, but I also think that Artorias is a harder boss. I was just a much better player by the time I fought Artorias. So there is a very solid argument for putting Gargoyles in top tier though. Yeah. A lot of people have been downplaying Gargoyles to me, and I'm like, no man, this is one of the hardest bosses in the fucking game. And yeah, maybe Butterfly is too high, but there's still a lot that I just could not figure out about that fight for the life of me. I'm sure probably the most disagreeable thing is Capra Demon. I'm sure a lot of people would have Capra Demon way higher. I know in like the Democracy video, Capra Demon was voted like top 10 hardest in the game. I'm sure a lot of people had way more trouble with Capra Demon than I did. Most people would probably like swap Capra Demon with the Butterfly, right? And then maybe even put Capra Demon higher. But yeah. I'd say Gaping Dragon is easier than Seath. Okay. That's fair, I think. Yeah. Again, this is all very much like... I tried to be a bit objective about it and recognise what is actually hard. But also, I'm very much mainly leaning on my personal experience. So... I think, you know what? I'm not going to put Gargoyles over one. But I do think I need to move Gargoyles up into the top tier. Now we have like a very solid top 5, you know? They are a top 5 hardest boss in the game. I think they belong in that hard as balls tier. They're so fucking hard, man. They're crazy. Even with gold pine resin, they're crazy. And like I say, in terms of the difficulty they gave me, I would put them over Artorias. But I do think Artorias is probably harder overall. There you have it. I think that's pretty agreeable. Now let's get to roasting. Okay, guys. What do you think goes in the bottom slot? So this is how good the bosses are in terms of design, in terms of fun. Bed of Chaos genuinely has to be one of the weirdest. It's not just terrible, it's so weird. Is he even a boss fight? Its status as a boss fight is deeply debatable, I think. Like, I don't know. Like I say, this boss is so big that you literally can't take it all in on screen at one time. So it has these huge fucking ridiculous attacks that come from off screen that you can't possibly anticipate. And the physical design of this thing is so confusing that you hardly can tell where the fucking hands are, where the fucking swords are coming from, where the fuck anything is. The design is so abstract that it's hard to make anything out and even figure out. And all this is going on while the fucking floor is crumbling beneath you. There's these weird fucking domes to the side of it. Nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense. So much of this boss in the first place is figuring it out, and what you actually do to kill it is so fucking weird. What a bizarre way to kill a boss. Destroy 2 domes at the side of it, and then run to a middle section, break through some bramble, and kill a bug in the middle of it? Who the fuck's gonna think of that? You know, all the while, you're having to not die whilst you figure out what to do. You're dying and going back to it, and God forbid you haven't found the nearest bonfire to it that chat had the magnanimous nature to tell me about. God, I can't imagine not having that closer bonfire behind that stupid bullshit illusory wall and having to run basically all the way across all of Lost Izalith just to come back and try and figure out what to do about this fight before I even actually try and attempt to fight it, you know? And then you get to fighting it, and like I say, the attacks you just can't make out. From what I can tell, all you can do is try and roll through the sweeps, right? Maybe there's another strategy, but from all I could see, when it comes to the big sweeping hands, the only option is to roll. And that is so inconsistent and so hard, because it's a fucking hand. You're rolling through a giant hand, it feels. And you have to do it twice in a row. And then even then, that's no guarantee, because if you manage to successfully roll through both the sweeps, you get down onto the ledge, and if you're anything like me, you get bumped off by the fucking elbow as the hands come back. Jank. Jank as shit. As a visual design, what's your opinion though? As a visual design, it effectively conveys what it's going for. I get that it's a uterus and it's a mother fused with her 2 daughters, but also it's, like I say, it's so fucking big that it makes the boss fight actively worse because you literally can't see where the attacks are coming for on screen. Oh man, asinine. What unbelievable. And what's sad is that I love the idea of it. I love the idea of like a puzzle fight. I love the concept of it. I love how unique it is. I hope this didn't, I'm sure I'll see whether or not this did when I play future Soulsborne games, but I hope this didn't dissuade FromSoft from going for fights like this that just less jank and shit and stupid, you know? I like the idea of more puzzle fights, more interesting stuff that isn't just like a one-on-one fight with a dude or a monster, or even a one-on-two fight. Weird stuff where you got to figure it out, but this is just not it. This is just not the way you do it, you know? But here's the thing, Bed of Chaos. I'm about to hit you guys with some ludonarrative dissonance right now. Bed of Chaos is not actually alone in the Bed of Chaos tier. I don't know if this is a hot take. I suspect this might be my hottest take in the tier list, because some people seem to like this boss. I genuinely think Calamite is horrendous. Calamite is the only boss that came close to as unenjoyable as Bed of Chaos for me. I just think this boss fucking sucks ass. It's terrible and I hate it. Okay, let's start. First of all, a lot of hitboxes in this game don't match up with their visuals, but Calamite is the absolute worst offender. The fire just makes no sense. The big fire that it sends down from flying above does not line up with what actually hits you. And sure, that means I'm not getting hit a lot of the time I should, but that's still bad design. You know, just because I'm getting away with it, that doesn't make it good design. The fire, when he breathes it in a stream, you basically can't roll through that, because seemingly the hitbox is way chunkier than it should be. I don't know why the fire makes you fall over. If you were set on fire, do you think you'd fall over? I don't think so. I'd be like, oh, the force of the fire. I'd be like, I'm on fire! I'm burning! I'm screaming! I do not get why the fire makes you fall over. It's such a stupid fucking little detail. The hitboxes on this thing are so wank. The fucking neck hitbox. The amount of times you roll through an attack of Calamite's and it doesn't matter and you don't get rewarded for it, because every part of this fucking thing's body is a hitbox. I will never forget where he moved his claw for some reason, not as an attack, as part of his animation. He just moved his claw and it instantly killed me, did over half my HP. Oh, the sound design, the sound on that fucking command grab, you know, what it does to your ears. Is that good design? Do you think players like hearing? Is that nice? Is that cool? Do people want to hear that? I hate this fucking thing. Fucking hate it. The neck swipe attack is obnoxious. The tail attack is obnoxious. Even the fucking fly up, dive down attack is like you basically have to jump. You can roll out of the way a lot of the time, even with fast core, and it doesn't matter. Dragon Fire in Dark Souls 1 is magic, not fire. So to clarify, I did put that fire resistance ring on this fight for nothing then. Fuck Calamite. Calamite can eat my whole fucking ass. It's the worst actual boss fight in the game, in my opinion. I think people seem to really like Calamite. I don't get it. I'm going to put 4 Kings at the bottom of low tier. This is more salt than anything? What do you mean? I'm justified. I'm making very good points. I challenge you to argue any of the points I just made. That he has an attack that just makes your ears bleed. You know? I hate Calamite. Like, I don't think it is salt. I genuinely think it's really poorly designed. It doesn't feel like a Dark Souls boss, you know, where like you're trading blows. It's obnoxious. I genuinely think it's very poorly designed. It's not the salt talking. Because if it was salt talking, I would surely lobby for Manus being badly designed or Ornstein and Smo being badly designed. I think we're probably not going to come to an agreement, Metroid. Anyway, 4 Kings. Yeah. It says everyone has said this is basically DPS check the boss fight. Can you do enough damage? You win. Hopefully, unless they do this stupid ridiculous AoE attack 3 times in a row, like Adam do to me every so often. Unless they use that asinine homing attack that you can roll through and dodge, and it comes back for you? What's the fucking point? What's the point of rolling? You know, you can block it and just take a shit ton of damage for your block as well, I guess. Like, the moment they send that homing attack out, it seems like you're just guaranteed to take damage. That's it. They just so happen to use the homing attack, and now you have to take damage just because the boss chose to use this attack. And the AoE is unbelievable. Like, you have to run so far away, and you have to run so far away that it stalls for time and means more of the kings come in, and it makes the fight harder. If they just so happen to use the homing attack or the AoE attack fairly often, the fight is dramatically harder, almost down to randomness. You know, so there's randomness in how much DPS you're doing, and there's randomness on if they're using their ridiculous BS attacks, and otherwise it's just wailing on them until you win. There's no like trading of blows here. And the fact that you fight him in like the fucking void of the abyss makes depth perception really fucking hard. It's genuinely hard to dodge their attacks because it's hard to really perceive where you are in relation to the boss, where their swipes are going, how far you need to run or roll, or where you need to run or roll. It's just not good. It's not an enjoyable boss. You just go in and fucking mash. You mash and hope. That is the fight. You go in and you mash and you hope they don't do the explosion. You hope they don't do the homing attack. Because even if you roll through the homing attack, it doesn't matter. You will not be rewarded for your skill. Stupid boss. Badly designed. I really disliked it. I was very over-leveled for Cross Reaper Scylla, so maybe I'm biased. But I feel like even if I wasn't over-leveled, I would still dislike this boss on principle of her turning invisible. Don't get me wrong, it's cool. It's cool that you can see her footsteps in the snow. That's a cool little touch. But it's still very gimmicky. It's very gimmicky and frankly quite silly. And then you just wail at her and she's just dead. You know, like I said, I might be biased because she didn't get a chance to do really anything to me, but I was like, okay, she turns invisible. I'm gonna fucking flail in the general direction of these footsteps I see on the snow. Oh, she's dead. Okay. You know. Very gimmicky is all I can really say. Gimmicky. Most people seem to be telling me that she's incredibly easy no matter what level. So, and I can believe that, frankly. So yeah, she's just very whatever. She went down like 3 hits. She had one thing that she did. And when I figured that out, she was dead. Moonlight Butterfly. Oops. I mean, yeah, this is just fucking like 3D Toho in slow motion, isn't it? Right? If you're a melee weapon user like me, this fight could fucking put you to sleep. You just walk up and down a bridge rolling at laser beams. And then you wait for the boss to... I know that insects and animals aren't smart, but surely any real-life creature's survival instincts would kick in to the point where the guy who's trying to wail away at it at a sword, it wouldn't be so desperate to eat that it would actually then choose to like rest on a bridge and like try and suck up the nutrients from the foliage around it or whatever the fuck it does, right? I don't get the logic behind how this thing offers you an opening whatsoever. You're like swinging away at it trying to hit it, and it doesn't choose to fly away or even try to continue to kill you. It just like lands in front of you and just lets you hit it, which is really stupid. It's really silly. This thing has 4 attacks, they're all laser beams, you roll and dodge them and you wait. You know, 2 of them I never even really figured out how to dodge. Just a slow, patient, boring, uninteresting, unexciting fight. Demon Fire Sage. I went off about explosions. His AoE explosion in the previous tier list. I hate it. It's one of my least. His explosion and the 4 Kings explosions, I think, are my least favourite moves that any boss in the game had that isn't Calamite or Bed of Chaos's swipe. You know? And it doesn't help that this thing was just a reskin of a reskin. I didn't even like the Stray Demon that much. In fact, I'll go ahead and just do this right now. These both basically belong together. They're reskins. They have a silly explosion attack. You just mash on them, stay close to them, hope they don't do it. If they do it, then you take the hit, try and heal, run back in, kill them. That's that. There's not much to say about them. They are well and truly lamos through and through. Oh, Seath. Yeah, Seath, this fight just... break a crystal, mash on him. He spawns crystals and they do weird damage to you over time, and it seems like he can curse you, but I didn't get cursed. We're in the area now where I don't have much to say because I just kind of mashed on these bosses and didn't really take much away from it. You know, I mashed on Seath, he was dead. When you figure out the crystal thing, then you've basically like got it. You basically got the boss fight. It's aesthetically, it's very cool. The area is very cool. Seath looks very cool. His attacks are very flashy and very pretty. I like the whole crystal thing. But it's just a very uninteresting fight otherwise. He spawns these big rows of crystals. You roll away from them. You mash on him again. He goes down like a fucking lead balloon, you know? Quick, easy, painless, I guess, at the very least. But very uninteresting and unenjoyable. I think Capra Demon deserves to not have many points. I enjoyed fighting the Capra Demon like one-on-one. If you took the Capra Demon early game and put him in like a wide arena without the dogs, it could be one of the best fights in the game. Really fun, really cool. Unfortunately, neither of those things are true. He's in a really stupid, narrow little arena with no space to move around in, while he swings fucking wildly on you with two swords. You get ambushed by a pair of dogs at the start of the fight, and you basically have to run away and separate them. It's not the Capra Demon's fault that his fight sucks. It's all the stuff around it. It's the arena and the dogs. I'm very frankly, I'm very thankful that I killed this thing on my first attempt, because I can tell that it would have been very unfun to do it over and over again. To deal with those dogs at the moment I get in there. To deal with that claustrophobic fucking alleyway of a fight arena. And obviously it's sullied a bit by the fact that he comes back as a regular enemy later. But I think early game could be cool. Could be fun. I mean, by himself he's literally just a mob later on, you know? But at this point in the game, I think he makes sense as the boss. I think he's fine. He's fine. It's still early game. But maybe, clearly they must have put the dogs in because they felt otherwise, I guess. They maybe didn't think he was hard enough, but the combination of the dogs in the arena just yeah, keeps this fight down here. And then I think one more for this tier list, for this tier I should say. Oh no, maybe a couple actually. Yeah, I'm going to put Ceaseless Discharge here. The spectacle of Ceaseless Discharge is incredible. One of the craziest designs of any boss in the game. Just fucking insane to look at. The way that he comes at you for taking the armor off that dead body, and I believe that's his sister, right? Is really fucking cool. I feel like Stray belongs with Fire Sage. Stray is there with Fire Sage. Stray is next to Fire Sage. But this fight has like one thing, right? He does a big, silly attack that hits you anywhere in the arena, or like a big sweeping attack, and you just roll. You just roll once to avoid his one big attack, and then you wail on him, and it's just that over and over again. It doesn't really feel like... It's not much of a fight. It's not much of an exchange of blows. It's just this big fucking lumbering thing that might kill you in one hit. So just don't get hit, I guess, idiot. And that's it. The spectacle of it is very cool. It's a fascinating design. The whole thing about it is so interesting. I love that you can see it from across the map. But nothing about the actual fight itself is cool or interesting. You just avoid his big, ridiculous, crazy attacks. His attacks are so strong that he had me believing for a long time that this was like an end game boss, that I would come back here right at the end of the game. And it turns out, no, you can take it on at any point, but it's just like very one-dimensional, almost gimmicky, like roll or don't win. Get your rolls down perfectly or don't win, I guess. Weird designed boss that I still haven't really wrapped my head around. I don't get what they were going for here. You know, I don't get what they were trying to make the player feel or think about the Demon Ruins as a whole, how they could progress if they could. Yeah, he's a gimmick. Weird. I don't think it was well designed. Just very weird. Couldn't wrap my head around it. And then finally I'll put Centipede Demon here as well. I killed him on my first try. He did nothing. But I'm almost thankful, because I feel like if I didn't kill him on my first try, this could have been really lame. Being on like such a small little patch of land surrounded by lava is just inherently not fun. And I felt like I got lucky in that he was just jumping up and down all over again. Staying on this patch of land just let me wail on him. So like I say, You can cut off his arm and tail. I don't think I even did that. I think the thing's design is cool. I think he looks really cool. He's really interesting, really different, really fascinating. But again, this is another fight. I also did not get what they were going for here either. I finished the boss and I was... If you watch it back, like, I finished the boss and I was just confused. I was like, right. Okay. And then I never thought about it ever again. This is another boss. I don't know what they were going for. He just jumped up and down on the spot of land for me. Very easy to avoid. I wailed on him. He was dead. But if I didn't kill him first attempt, I shudder to think if he could knock me into the lava and insta-kill me. Or some other silly shit like that would have been very unfun. So I was very relieved to just get him done like that. You know? And one more boss in this tier. And I don't know if people are going to agree with this or not, but it's Pinwheel. Because I also don't really know what to say about Pinwheel. I can't tell if he's a joke boss or not. I don't know. People are saying he's intended to be taken on earlier. I don't know. I struggle to believe that he's intended to be taken on earlier because the catacombs before it are really fucking hard. You know? The catacombs certainly aren't intended to be taken on earlier. If they were, then they're very badly designed for that purpose. If he is a joke boss, then I guess he serves his purpose well? But I don't know. Is he? Isn't he? Like, what does he do? All I know is he went down in 2 hits and I was confused and surprised. So whatever effect they were going for with, I don't think it was confusion. You know, if it was supposed to be funny, I don't know. Whatever they were going for with Pinwheel, it didn't really work for me. I just killed him in 2 hits and was like, right. He would make way more sense as a joke boss because the catacombs is a genuinely very hard area. You fight him in the room after the fucking bone zone, the bone wheel room, which is one of the most terrifying single rooms in Dark Souls. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's balanced as an early game boss, but Catacombs isn't balanced as an early game area. So if he's intended to be designed to be taken on early, then that's dumb. And that is bad design. Either the Catacombs are badly designed or Pinwheel is badly designed, and I don't know which it is. I can't figure it out. So, yeah, if he was supposed to be funny, it wasn't funny. It was just a bit weird. I was like, right, okay, cool, I guess. Now we're on the reasonable company tier. I'm going to put Asylum Demon here. I think a lot of people might undersell the Asylum Demon. Might not be willing to talk about how cool it is, but like, this boss tells you so much about Dark Souls. You know, the first initial encounter where it drops down into the asylum and you're basically forced to run. It's such a cool, fascinating little moment of design. It's such a statement of intent about the game. And then it's such a power trip when you come back and you do the plunge attack and you fight him legit and you kill him. It's really well done. It's a beautiful tutorial boss. It's a beautiful way to teach you the game. I can't put it any higher because it is the first boss in the game. There's nothing to it. You just wail on it and it's dead. It's really easy. But in terms of like teaching you stuff about the game and introducing you to the idea of Dark Souls, it's really fucking cool. And it's really well done, and I really respect and appreciate it. I also think this boss is sullied ever so slightly by having 2 fucking reskins later on in the game. So that hurts him a bit. But in isolation, this is very good, and this is very cool. Gaping Dragon, design-wise, might be the coolest boss in the game. It's between him and Manus, I think. They're so fucking cool. I mean, Gaping Dragon is just gross, but it's fascinating. The way he's got like a little tiny little snake head, and that whole teeth thing is just like his neck. Fuck me. But the boss is very much just there, you know. The walking attack I find very silly. It's my least favourite thing about the fight. The fact that the most dangerous thing he does is walk in your general direction. It's really silly. It's really hard to play around. I don't like his foot being a hitbox and stuff. But I do generally like the fight overall. He's got like what feels like an appropriate amount of wind-ups for that point in the game. An appropriate amount of punish windows. His attacks are interesting, but there's not so many of them. It's reasonably fun to get in and wail on him, but it's like, it could be more fun if you felt remotely safe being near his feet. But you don't, because he has a really silly attack with silly hitboxes where he just starts walking and you're just dead. You know? So he's fine. He's fine for where he is in the game. Then Taurus Demon. Kind of what I said for Asylum Demon, but slightly improved. Taurus Demon doesn't quite teach you as much about the game as Asylum Demon does, because he's later in the game and you've already learned a lot of that inherent lessons. It's more of just a one-on-one fight. But this is your first actual test, you know. I like that there's a lot of cool different ways you can cheese it. I've seen that you can knock him off the bridge. I've seen that you can cheese him with the plunge attack. It's just a very memorable moment, very memorable set piece. And this guy is like a very good level of difficulty that he really will teach you the game, you know. It's not like Gargoyles where it will teach you the game by being an abusive parent. This will teach you the game by like encouraging you to beat him. Yeah, it's cool that you can beat him in so many different ways. It's a very nice little bit of design. He feels perfect for this point in the game, considering the kind of game that Dark Souls is. And once you learn to roll into him, to roll through his legs, to roll through his attacks, you know, it becomes a pretty fun and interesting fight. But nothing crazy, nothing to write home about. It's just a very memorable moment. It's more than the sum of its parts, dare I say. Next is Neo. Actually, no, not quite yet. Yeah, no, next is Neo. Yeah. Kind of repeating what I said in the previous tier list. This really isn't a boss fight against Neo. This is a boss fight against a bunch of skeletons, and there just so happens to be a dude there you've got to kill. Neo himself is a pushover. In fact, you use him to your advantage. You know, you use him to kill the skeletons around him that are such a problem. I do think aesthetically his design is very cool. I love the arena, the way that it's like a big loop. You fight him in Baby Park, right? You know the Mario Kart track? You fight him in Baby Park lovers would love Neo. Because you do a lot of just running around in a fucking circle to get away from him. Aesthetically, the fight is very cool. Just being in like the very fucking bottom of this tomb, surrounded by bones and skulls and skeletons at every angle. But the fight itself is just fine, because it feels like you're contesting with the mobs around him way more than you're contesting with the actual boss. I would have preferred it if they buffed Neo himself and made him much stronger, and either did away the skeletons or just had a few less. I could deal with a few skeletons, but the way they've got it is like, it's like you're on Baby Park and all the fucking races are other skeletons, and you're just like, you just kind of have to go in and mash on him for a bit and hope that the skeletons don't interfere, and then hope that he does the AoE attack and run away, and basically hope that the skeletons don't cut you off on the way and that he doesn't, you know, they don't stop you from getting away from the explosion. So a lot of fighting Neo felt like hopium, but it was fun. Wailing on him felt good. His attacks all made sense. He didn't have any bullshit. He simultaneously was and wasn't gimmicky. It's weird. There's concept art of him with his cape off. Originally he was supposed to have a second phase. Cool, that sounds interesting. I like that idea. Neo could be really hard if you come with a build he's strong against. What kind of builds is he particularly strong against? I know that you can stay at kind of the start of the arena and not get the big giant skeletons to stand up. But I wonder what else about the fight I was kind of missing. It did seem like an interesting fight with a lot of ways to approach it, but I feel like all those ways are probably held back by just getting bum rushed by constantly regenerating skeletons all the time. That kind of stops you from ever really being able to enjoy the fight. So it's not really Neo's fault. I just think the concept, the idea of the fight is a bit fundamentally flawed, which is a shame because I love the idea of it. I love the arena. Even though I hate Tomb of the Giants, I do think it's a cool place in concept. I love the idea that you go to the bottom of it and you find this fucking dude at the end of it. I love the aesthetics of it all, I just don't love the fight that much. Next is Gargs. Obviously they're top 5. You can prevent the skeletons from respawning again with divine weapons, or prevent them from aggroing you with the Ring of Fog, or break them with fire spells. Interesting. I did hear something about the Ring of Fog. He's very vulnerable to fire. Okay. Gargs are fine. Obviously they're incredibly hard. In terms of design, they're fine. You know? I've not got a lot to say, really. A lot of their attacks are, you know, they mix you up when they fly, when they take to the sky, and you can't tell if they're going to land with an attack or just land like empty. They mix you up a lot. You're constantly on your toes on the gargoyles. I like the arena on the roof. I think it's very fun, very cool. But something about 2-in-1 fights inherently rubs me the wrong way, and it's hard to really enjoy a fight. It's hard to really have fun when you never really get a chance to wail on a guy, you know, because there's always another guy there to fucking go in. And I know you kill one, eventually you get to wail on the other one, but I don't know. That's just my, you know, I'm greedy. I like hitting things. My monkey brain likes the feeling of hitting things and getting big damage off. And we'll talk more about this concept a bit later, I'm sure. But it's hard to find it fun as it should be when you're just getting bum rushed and I don't know. Conceptually, they're just gargoyles. You know, there's nothing crazy there. I know there's a lot of merit to like enjoying taking your licks when you can get them, just taking your punishes incrementally and just kind of getting away with that. But I was so scared throughout this fight, I couldn't enjoy that aspect of it. And aesthetically, it's just nowhere near as interesting or cool or high concept as a lot of the other bosses are ambitious in this game. I think that does it for the reasonable company tier. I know this is controversial at all. Sif is fine as a fight. In fact, it's fun. I like it. It's nice and straightforward, no gimmicks. This is the fight that taught me how to use my rolls more than anything else. You know, this is the fight that taught me how good rolling is. This is roll the fight. This is prep for Gwyn, like I say. The arena is very nice, very aesthetically pretty. Obviously, I know the lore about Sif is very sad and very cool, and it makes it a very emotionally charged fight. But the fight itself was just kind of, oh, this is cool, you know. He's got big wind-ups. He challenges you to roll with very specific timing. Once you get the rolls down, it feels very satisfying. This is a boss that feels like it teaches you the game very well and will make you get good, which I appreciate. Also, I don't like having to hit a dog, you know. Having to hit a big dog makes you really sad. So, yeah, when he starts limping and whimpering and shit, it's really sad. So, Sif could never be goated, because killing dogs is not goated. It never will be. From a dog to a cat. Sanctuary Guardian, baby. This fight feels ripped straight out of Monster Hunter. And I really liked it. Again, no gimmicks. Just straightforward, fun. The lightning attacks are a bit much. But not much to say other than it's just a fun one-on-one fight. He has a lot of good, reasonable wind-ups, reasonable punish windows. This is a boss that you really feel like you get to scrap with and kind of go in with and just have fun with. The lightning attacks are a bit too fast for my liking. I still feel like they're almost impossible to avoid sometimes. Like, you can start running as soon as they start up, but it's fine. I'm not going to complain too much. It could just be me being bad at the game. Otherwise, the combo attack is cool. Cool. Just a cool, fun boss with not much to say. I love the design. I love the aesthetics of it. It's such a cool, like a manticore. Such a cool looking creature. Such an aesthetically cool fight. And a great introduction to the DLC and how good the bosses are going to be in that. Well, with one exception. I know this is a hot take. I feel like this might be a hot take. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. I really like Iron Golem. I thought Iron Golem was really fucking cool. I'm surprised no one else really talks about it that much. The biggest thing I think is, and maybe this is like a silly thing to say, but the aesthetics of the fight is so cool. He's so cool looking. You fight him at the top of Sen's fortress on like a fucking rooftop. He towers over you. It feels epic and grand. This is the first fight in Dark Souls, I think, that makes you feel like a badass, where you're like, oh my god, I just took that thing down. Maybe Gaping Dragon, but I think that fight was a bit too plodding. Whereas this fight is like just cool. It's just good. The aesthetics of it are cool. He himself doesn't do anything amazing or like overwhelmingly memorable. You know, he throws those kind of javelin things at you. He knocks you off a lot with big uppercuts and whatnot. But taking him down just feels good. It's fun to wail on him. It's fun to stagger him. I think he's a good level of difficulty, personally. But maybe I wasn't that good at the fight. I just found it very enjoyable. It's a very cool fight. I loved being at the top of Sen's Fortress fighting this giant fucking Iron Titan. It was the closest thing I got to like a power fantasy when you kill this thing. Because I took it down like 5 or 6 tries. And I was like, man, maybe I'm not that bad at this game after all. You know? This fight also, like I say, got me into kind of two-handing more often. Brought me around to the two-handed master race. Which I always appreciate it for. And now for my top 5. Yeah. Oh yeah, baby. Okay. These are all the goats. The goats are incoming now. Again, I fear this might be another hot take. But Ornstein and Smo. And don't get me wrong, these guys are top tier. This is super fucking cool. Again, the aesthetics of it are amazing. The lore behind these characters are cool. I love that it's a duo fight where the two characters have a different dynamic. The fact that there's a second phase is super fucking cool. Everything about the thematics and the aesthetics of this fight is super cool. I just don't think the actual fight itself is quite as cool as everyone hypes it up to be. In fact, I think it's quite annoying, especially that first phase. Good lord. And maybe I'm biased because I was fighting Smo first. And you just... Ornstein, man. Oh my god. I dislike Ornstein so much. I fucking hate Ornstein. He's such an asshole. He has so many silly attacks. He does not leave you alone. This doesn't feel like a fight. This feels like a struggle for survival. You know, and some people really like that, and I can get it. I think there's merit in that. And especially the second phase. The second phase does feel like a fight. But just getting to that first phase is such a pain in the ass. In a cool way. I think it's cool. But it's also just not inherently fun. You know, I don't think. To like I say, like what I said about the gargoyles, it's just not inherently fun to wait to finally feel like you've got your opportunity. A lot of this fight is to finally feel like you've got your opportunity and then just like get sniped out of it. A lot of this fight is running away. It feels like you just have to run away for a lot of this fight and wait and wait and wait and wait for an opportunity. And even when you think you've got an opportunity, you go in and there's fucking Ornstein, you know? And yes, I did this without summoning. And lightning being a bad choice was debatable because it allowed me to kill Smo really fast, you know? I know they're both weak to fire now, but obviously I had no way of knowing that. So yeah, I still think this fight is top 5, and it's really cool. The song is great, the way it looks is awesome, all good stuff. But I don't think it's inherently that much fun. I also didn't really enjoy fighting Super Ornstein that much. They're still good, but I don't think they're the best in the game. 4 is Manus. My feelings on this are obviously very conflicting because this is the hardest boss in the game. But when you look at a boss like this compared to a boss like Calamite, the 2 hardest bosses in the game, it's night and day. Manus is brutally hard, fucking unbelievable, fucking unreal. I genuinely cannot believe that I killed this guy on my stream, having never played a Dark Souls game before Dark Souls 1, you know, in less than 4 hours. The first 2 times I fought this guy, I could not believe it. Like, I literally, like, I'd never been as stumped or dumbfounded. I was like, I have no idea how I'm going to do this. I don't even know how to start approaching it. For, like, the first 20 attempts, I didn't even get him down to half health, you know? More than that, I imagine. Probably a lot of attempts. But at the very least, whilst being brutally hard, Manus makes sense. His hitboxes make sense. Pendant. I don't know about the pendant. Since you're done with the game, it's safe to say that with a physical focused stat build like you had, making your weapons have any element outside of certain gimmicks areas was just a bad idea. Sure, maybe. My first attempt, you know? My first ever Dark Souls game. So, I've learnt that now. Once I started using Uchi, which is what I started doing against this boss, yeah, things came together. Slowly but surely. Because I fought this guy with the lightning scimitar for a long time. Then I tried the dual blade daggers, which... me fucked up. Anyway, Manus brutally hard, but he makes sense. His hitboxes make sense. It feels like you're rewarded for your roles. You're rewarded for your play. You know, it's just the complete polar opposite of Calamite, where it feels like none of that shit matters. There is an element of randomness of if he uses that big silly magic laser attack that just seems almost impossible to avoid, and how he does the combo, which seems impossible to avoid. But that's probably just me being not as good at the fight as I could be. Even though this fight made me want to cry and maybe want to jump off a roof, I also acknowledged that whilst I was getting my ass beat, during the few attempts that went longer than a minute, I was having fun. I thought it was enjoyable. I could recognise that it was clearly a well-designed fight, and the high from beating this guy was beautiful. It wasn't like a release of frustration, it was like, look how fucking good I am, you know? Also, his design is incredible. Oh, I love the way Manus looks, he's so cool. I even know what he is, but the giant fucking horns and the red lights. Yeah, that's fine. So I didn't mean to make it seem like I'm like offended by you guys. I get what you guys are saying. Yeah, I just thought Manus was very fucking cool. Really liked him. I suspect most people would probably not have Quelaag as high as I do. I just thought this fight was really neat. I just didn't think this fight set a foot wrong. All the attacks made sense. It was a cool, big, wide open arena. No gimmicks, no silliness. A lot of diverse attacks. It was fun. It was very slow and plodding because I spent a lot of my time having to fucking run away. I'm glad that I did a relatively complication-free. I think I did it like 3rd or 4th try. And I would have been upset if I died on the attempt that I beat her on because it was a long fight. And my hands were genuinely hurting from how much I was holding down sprint to run away. But the big sword swipe attacks, the fire breath attack, the lava burst attack, it's all very intimidating whilst being fair and reasonable but still hard. And I liked it. I thought it was cool. Yeah, I agree. I think it's just a very well-designed fight. Quelaag is sort of a super masterpiece. Everyone that does a tier list discovers they like Quelaag a lot more than they thought they liked her. Yeah, I agree. This feels like a fight that rewards patience. It rewards the fundamental skills of Dark Souls that a boss fight should. And it's perfect difficulty for where it is, I think. Just cool. Just a really cool fight that I have literally no complaints about and I'd happily do again. I also don't know if most people have Gwyn this high, but I feel very much the same way about Gwyn. Literally, I can't even really hold it against Gwyn. My biggest and real only complaint about Gwyn is the run-up. I hate that you have to run through the whole kill of the first flame every time you rematch him, because the fight can be over in less than 30 fucking seconds, and then you do like a 3-minute run-up every time. That sucks. It's a real pain in the ass. But the actual fight with Gwyn is so much fun. It well and truly feels like a one-on-one duel, you know, where your stamina management and all of your Dark Souls fundamentals are put to the test. You know, you're rolling, you're parrying, I'm sure, if you choose to go the parrying route, finding windows of opportunity to heal. It's so hard to find opportunities to heal because, like I say, he closed the distance so fucking fast and has so much ridiculous range. And that fucking frame 3 attack, I still find a bit ridiculous. He stands there looking completely punishable and then does this completely unreactable attack out of nowhere that often starts up a combo. That's a bit silly. But everything else is perfect. The aesthetics, the music is great. I love that he's like huddled over a bonfire as you come in. Just a really memorable, cinematic, just a gorgeous fight. Really well done. The lore behind it, everything works. The kill of the first flame leading up to it, and then the fight itself is just really satisfying, really fun, really straightforward, no gimmicks. Again, tests you to the extreme on all your Dark Souls fundamentals. And with that all said, I'm sure it's not much of a surprise that, yeah, I do think Artorias was the best fight in the game. And I suspect a lot of people probably agree. Much of the same that I said for the last 2 fights. The top 3 are all just like completely gimmick-free, fair difficulty bosses with moves that make sense, that test your Dark Souls fundamentals. Everything makes sense. It's hard, but it makes sense. The arena is super fucking cool. It's a very dynamic fight. You're constantly on your toes. You know, you really are dueling with him. He has more attacks than Gwyn does, for sure. And he does a lot more interesting stuff than Gwyn does, like buffing himself, like the flips, like the fucking giant stab where he fucking kebabs you. That move scares the shit out of me. The giant leaps. He has so much different stuff he does. He's so cool. He's so dynamic. It doesn't feel like you're fighting an AI. This feels like a PvP match where you're fighting like an intelligent human, you know, with like nearly the same moveset as you. And that just says everything about what an immensely well-designed boss fight is, that it hardly even feels like you're fighting a character in a video game. It just feels like you're fighting a guy, you know? It just hits on every level. It's just perfect. All the lore that goes into it, perfectly fun fight, no complaints. Very hard, but fun all the same. Very much enjoyed it, even though he scares the piss out of me and I was fighting him for like an hour and a half. And there you go. There's my opinion of the bosses in Dark Souls in terms of quality. What do you guys think? Is this generally agreeable? I know that a lot of people seem to think Calamite is better. I'll die on this hill. Fuck Calamite. But I think this is largely agreeable, right? What would you move up? What would you move down? Anyone not think that Artorias is the best fight in the game? I think that's a pretty general consensus, right? Most people seem to think Artorias is the best fight in the game. Calamite is an A and S. Alright, Metroid. Okay. We do not agree. The rest is agreeable. People agree that Four Kings sucks then. I'm glad that much. I don't know, something told me I thought I'd get some Four Kings defenders in my chat. I'll upgrade Gargoyles and downgrade Gape. Interesting. What do you like so much about Gargoyles, Ash and Crow? Because I'm willing to be sold on them. I like Gape though. Gape's arena and aesthetic is so cool. The fight itself isn't amazing, but it's fine enough. He belongs in reasonable company. I think he's reasonable company. Yeah, fuck Four Kings, man. Really dislike that fight. So yeah, my bottom 5 is Bed of Chaos, Calamite, Four Kings, Brasilia, and Butterfly. My top 5 is ONS, Manus, Quelaag, Gwyn, and Artorias. I think my top 5 is pretty agreeable, right? I feel like I can move Gargoyles up because they're one of the most nostalgic bosses to come back to. They just, I don't know, they just don't do a lot for me in terms of the fight, in terms of design. You know, they're hard. That seems to be their main kind of selling point. They beat my ass a lot. They're in demons as well. I can see myself hating Capra Demon more if I hadn't killed it so easily. I'm surprised people agree with my Iron Golem. I thought people would disagree with Iron Golem, but I think that fight is really fucking cool. I love that their moveset is complete and there's a bunch of ways you can bait them into being separated or breathing fire and punishable. I must have just been like getting my ass beat too much to even like figure out how I could bait them into breathing fire. It felt pretty random to me, but I'm sure I was missing a trick or something. Top 5 is ONS, Calamite, Artorias, Manus, and this. So literally ONS and the DLC bosses. Damn. Okay. Interesting. But yeah, I like to think this is pretty in line, probably, with what most people think and how most people feel about this. I don't think I'll post this to YouTube. I probably won't post it to YouTube. I think people can just watch the VOD back and whatnot, you know? Whoops. Golden's kind of basic to my liking, yeah. Now you've finally beaten Dark Souls, you can finally appreciate the Prold's videos. I do not know whomst the Prold is, but I will have a look into them. I've been watching a lot of lore stuff and whatnot, and you know, I'm sure I'll watch more and try and kind of wrap my head around it and so on and so forth, because there certainly still is more to wrap my head around. Oh, the music just stopped for seemingly no reason. For reference, Gwendolyn would be high B tier for me. Interesting. People have told me generally that Gwendolyn kind of sucks. And that he's very slow and plodding and stuff. Am I missing Dark Souls already? Not really. But I think I will soon. I am excited to go back and play Dark Souls 2. We'll see. But like I said, I'm going to do it off stream. Alright guys. That's going to wrap it up for me. I'll be back on Monday. On Valentine's Day. With the Hatoful Boyfriend stream. The fucking bird dating sim. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. And during that stream, I'll probably announce what's next, what I'm actually playing next, because still haven't fully officially decided just yet. I'm still thinking about it. So we'll see. Either way, I told you guys about that on Monday. I'm going to raid another Dark Souls streamer if you want to see someone else playing Dark Souls for the first time. If you're still into that, you're after a fix of that stuff. So hopefully enjoy that, show us some love. Yeah, I'll see you guys on Valentine's Day, and we'll talk more about what's ahead for the Twitch channel and the stream. See you then. Bye everyone.